It's like, couldn't they have introduced the second phase like on the second time you beat Hades?
Listen, you just gotta do it.
Like, let me just have my first win, then ramp up the difficulty the second go around.
No, that's ridiculous. Why would they do that? You gotta go do it all in one go.
That's right.
So I'm still salty. So I would you do it because then I put down the game for a year.
I mean, listen, if you're gonna be that much of a wuss about it,
I am. I'm gonna be a whiny little baby.
Do you even deserve to beat the game at that point?
I guess apparently not by their standards.
You don't even deserve to see the ending. Don't forget, you got to do it 10. You got to do that 10 times to get the beat the main story.
Yep.
Hate roguelike. I just don't care much for roguelikes.
Well,
I don't like the whole starting from the beginning, working my way back up to the problem.
That's fair.
Yeah.
No.
It gets a little disheartening to me.
Well, don't play Darkest Dungeon.
I had no plans to.
Darkest Dungeon obliterated me. I
had no plans.
I was going okay in it until I got to the last set of bosses. The last set of bosses are so stupidly difficult to beat. I just gave up. I was like, I if I play this anymore, I'm going to be wasting my precious hours of my life. So I'm done with it. I'm hyped up for the second one though. Apparently it does it like you only form a single band and then you try to run them through like this whole gauntlet. Mm-hmm. So it's more roguelike than the original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, from everything I've heard, that's what it's going for. It's very different from what I've heard.
Very different. But I welcome change. Maybe I can actually beat it this time.
I feel like I would enjoy playing Darkest Dungeon 2 a lot more than Darkest Dungeon 1 because losses aren't nearly as punishing.
Yep, exactly that. Like, I would fight one of the hardest bosses at the very end of the game with, like, my best possible party, and then they would get wiped out. And I would have to start, like, all the way over from the very beginning. Because, like, none of my characters are strong enough to be able to fight any of these. So I just have to go and do, like, all the weak little wimpy fights in order to get them leveled up. And it's just like, I can't do it, man. My life, man.
There's a guy on YouTube, Joseph Anderson. I like some of his videos. I think some of his videos are kind of dumb. Like his Mario Odyssey video was not that good. It was just like, hey, all these stars, you get these stars the same way, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
they're very quick.
Yeah,
and I think he even complained that the animation for getting a moon in the game is like really is too long because if you add up all the time that's spent watching the little animation, it adds up to like over an hour if you get all the moons. But it's like 5 seconds every single time.
Yeah.
But he does make some good videos. Like his one for Fallout 76 was great, where it's just he cataloged every single bug he ran into. And his one on Darkest Dungeon just convinced me, like, yeah, that would be my experience with the game, and I don't want to go through that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you see Radical Soda's back?
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I think it just got back like a week ago or something.
Oh, I need to see the new video because Radical Soda's great. Mm-hmm. Freaking 3-hour-long video on Doki Doki Literature Club with skits.
I have not tackled that one yet.
Dude, it's amazing. It was like reliving the experience of that almost first going through the game for the first time.
Yeah.
It was a magical video. Magical.
Yeah, it's an intro.
That's an intro. And what were you saying?
I accidentally binged like all of Radical Soda's stuff like a month ago. So,
dude, he's fantastic. He's also got some weird taste in Sonic games.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it because he voices my frustrations with a lot of the modern 3D Sonic style. Where it's not really, they're not really 3D Sonic games, they're 2D Sonic games with 3D segments.
Yeah.
And they're not particularly great 2D Sonic games. Like, if I'm going to play 2D Sonic, I'll play the Genesis games or Mania.
Yeah.
I don't want to play, like, when I go to a 3D Sonic game, I want a 3D Sonic game. And playing on that time I played Unleashed, it's like, okay, I get it. I played Colors and I absolutely hated it. I despise Colors. I did one homing attack in that game without an enemy in front of me, and I said, this game's trash. This game's absolute trash. Like, I completely understand. Like, so Pat from formerly Super Best Friends, now Castle Super Beast, and Pat stares at. He said multiple times that he played Sonic Generations, and he like did one jump or did one spin dash, and he said this game's trash. And he's a big fan of Sonic 2, and I got that feeling, that exact feeling with Sonic Colors. Except in my mind, I'm wanting the homing attack from Sonic Adventure 2, where you homing attack and you keep some of the momentum going, so you can do it like up ramps onto grind up ramps and do that, so you get a big boost of speed, so you can go up a sheer wall and things like that. You can't do that in Sonic Colors because you do a homing attack. If there's no enemy there, he just stops and falls straight down.
Nice.
It's awful. I hate it so much. And then even the 2D segments I hated because it's so he has too much momentum.
Yeah.
So I fell off the same platform over and over, which is partly just me getting frustrated with the game.
Naturally.
And that was the one and only time I've played Sonic Colors, and I hate it.
Very
That game's
good.
trash.
Love the review.
Yes, and I laugh at the all the footage I saw coming out of the remake of that game.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Yes. It's glorious. Absolutely glorious. I'm pulling up my list. Getting it ready.
Yeah.
Quit stall for time. Man, Sonic Colors. I hate it.
Yeah. It's so bad, man.
Man.
Okay.
The guy's favorite Sonic game is Sonic Heroes, which is a strange choice.
Very strange.
But I kind of get it because I do like Sonic Heroes, but I also and I see a lot of I see it doing a lot of stuff that I wish later Sonic games would do. Like Sonic Team, you do realize you have more characters than just Sonic and old Sonic. And create a character now.
Yeah.
Create a character
gosh. It's sad when their creative character is worse than the one from Sonic Dreams collection.
Oh.
Anyway, Mr. Aaron,
Yes.
how's been your weeks?
All right. It is once again time for everybody's favorite returning segment, the Aaron Movie Power Hour.
Yeah!
Where I spend all of that time talking about all of the billions of movies I've
Here's a
watched.
simulation of what it's like when Aaron puts down all the movies.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
The whole table's gonna fall over.
Yeah, I was about to buckle the legs.
That was. Oh my gosh!
Frank-
Aaron plops all the movies
I
on the
think it's
floor
good.
and it caves in.
Oh man!
But
that by the way was me dropping the Way of Kings Leatherbound on the table.
beautiful.
That's a very pretty book.
It is
It
a very pretty book. It's the prettiest book I own. The only one that I know of, not that I own, but that I know of that might be just a little prettier is the. Oh, I forget, but it's this really, really nice, like I think also $100 edition of A Game of Thrones. And the only reason I say it might be prettier is because it's got art on the inside of the sleeve.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is really, really cool. But it's
Very
it's
cool.
the same quality as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, movie time. So the
boy.
first movie I watched was so I basically finished up all of the exclusive movies to the platforms like Hulu and Netflix, Amazon as well. So I basically had to branch out and start watching movies that came out in theaters first. I know, crazy
Oh wow!
thought.
Whoa!
Yes.
Oh man,
Whoa.
remember theaters?
Man,
Yes,
remember theaters?
theaters?
Man, what a nice experience going to the theater with that little kid who's sitting beside you
Oh,
and has light up shoes and keeps kicking them
Oh my
over
god.
and over while you're trying to watch the first Avengers movie.
Yep, or that one dude or that one dude who thinks that he's in Mystery Science Theater 3000 and has to give his
Oh
running
my
commentary to the
God.
entire thing, and you just want to chuck your soda out of his face, but you never know if the guy has a knife.
That's true.
I feel like that's every horror movie experience imaginable.
Oh
like
my-
you go to a horror movie and everybody talks.
See, you say that, but then that one time with our mutual friend Jordan when we went to see It Follows for your birthday,
Yes.
and that really tense, creepy moment where it's just completely silent, and then he goes, "Oh, it's coming."
Okay, that did make the movie better.
Yes.
That did make
Yes.
the movie better.
That did make,
But see, he wasn't doing that the whole time.
No.
Yeah.
And
no.
and as
And it
his
was
friend,
quiet.
as his friends, we know he's doing that because he's just as scared as I am.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
terrified.
We're trying to deflect our dread.
Horrifying movie. That what a terrible movie to go see together for somebody who doesn't like horror films.
So whose idea was that, Aaron?
Hey, don't look at me. I wasn't the one who came up with it. I don't remember who did. Maybe my mom. I can't remember. But
well, it wasn't us.
Yeah, no, understandable.
Someone on your end.
Someone. Anyway, the movies. I watched Train to Busan first. Train to Busan is a Korean horror flick in which the zombie outbreak happens while all these people are on a train, and they basically have to ride the train until they can find a safe haven somewhere in Korea. And it was pretty darn good. It got a lot of buzz back when it first released, back in like 2016, 2017. And it's really good. The acting's all really good. The plot's really tight.
That sounds like a similar premise to Snowpiercer.
Very similar, yeah. So, I mean, it's just like they spend...
I assume that like the zombies started on the train.
Yes.
They had to keep the train going.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the zombies are everywhere else too, but the zombies got onto the train.
They are also on the train.
So, yeah, they have to...
Interesting.
Yeah, they basically... they get a little mixed up, and some get caught at like the back of the train, and they have to make their way forward. And so, like, everybody gets sort of... they have to sort of try to survive this scourge. So it was a really good film. I'm glad I sat down and watched it. Next movie I watched was The French Dispatch. Went out and saw Wes
Anderson.
Yes.
I need to watch more Wes Anderson.
My favorite director. I love him. French Dispatch was awesome. I absolutely loved it. It's done in an anthology style where there are a bunch of short stories all tied to this central newspaper. Basically, the newspaper or magazine, I can't remember which it is, publishes these unique and like quirky stories like once a month. And they're from Kansas, but they have an office in France, which is where like everything happens. So like it was really, really interesting. Like all the different stories. It was super cool just to like know like these are just smaller vignettes of a larger, crazier world. Is super cool. I absolutely loved it. My favorite one was maybe the one with Adrian Brody and I can't remember his name. Who played the dealer or the weapons dealer guy in not the Force Awakens, the one after the Force Awakens.
Last Jedi.
No, before. Or, well, maybe it was The Last Jedi. Yes, it was.
Benicio del Toro?
Yes, that guy. Yes, Benicio del Toro and Adrian Brody, which is really good. About, like, this artist who lives in a prison, and, like, he basically made one, like, masterpiece, and this art dealer guy's trying to get him to make more. And so, like, the whole story is about, like, this greedy art dealer trying to get him to paint all of these paintings so he can make money off of them. So, it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed it. Good film all around. Next film I watched was Nancy. This is not a film you want to watch if you don't deal with awkwardness well, because it is an incredibly awkward movie.
Oh boy!
It's basically about this woman whose mother dies, and on the TV she sees this story about this kid who got kidnapped years before, and basically her family looked for her forever, and she becomes convinced that she is the daughter that was kidnapped. And so basically she goes and tries to rekindle with them. And like it has Steve Buscemi in it. He plays the father of the kid who was kidnapped. And basically it's just this incredibly awkward, like she like doesn't talk like at all. And so she like doesn't like answer like any of their questions. So it's just like they're asking her stuff and she'll just like stand around and look down awkwardly. And so that's like pretty much the whole movie. So like if you're not good with that, then like that's not a recommended movie.
That sounds like some certain parts of 1 Hour Photo, but with the tone of Manchester by the Sea.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Pretty much it.
I mean, I liked Manchester by the Sea, so
yeah. I mean, yeah, man. Like I said, it's not a bad film. It's just like if you don't deal with awkwardness well, I wouldn't recommend watching it. But it's a good film. Next film I watched was Short Term 12, which was maybe my favorite film I watched out of all the ones since last time. It is about this, basically these people that work at a short-term child like housing facility, basically like kids who are delinquents or like getting passed around from parent to parent. Basically they're in charge of running this, and it's all about, it's like a short vignette about them and sort of a bunch of the different kids in their lives with this central story around this one girl who comes in whose father is sort of abusive to her, and basically it's all about her and getting closure for her and stuff. And incredible film. Oh my goodness. Like by the end of the film you just have a big smile on your face because like it's just like it's such a feel-good movie. It's one I would definitely recommend watching if you have the time because it is really, really good. It's on Peacock for free, so yeah, there you go.
Hey, you don't have to actually pay for Peacock.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not that I would anyway.
Yeah, no. Almost all of the new streaming services are like just not worth it. Like you can pay for Peacock like premium or whatever, but like it's just not worth it. Like they have a bunch of movies on there that are like, you know, free, so it's just like don't even bother. Yeah, don't even bother. Movie I watched after that, maybe the most pretentious movie I've watched since I started watching movies. It's called A Ghost Story. It's an A24 movie. Basically, it's done in 4:3 aspect ratio, and basically this guy dies and then comes back as a ghost, and basically he haunts this house throughout all of time, and basically he experiences like the life of his girlfriend living there, the people that come after him, and then he jumps back in time to like when the settlers were first coming in there. And the entire movie, there's maybe 20 lines of dialogue, if that. Like, the entire movie is literally just him standing around watching things happen. And, like, there's this one scene that's like, have you ever watched Twin Peaks: The Return?
I have not seen Twin Peaks: The Return.
There's a scene in Twin Peaks: The Return where it's just like 10 minutes of a guy sweeping a floor. And
that sounds very David Lynch.
Very David Lynch. And there is a 10-minute scene in A Ghost Story in which a woman sits down and eats a pie. And that's the whole scene for like 10 minutes. No cuts or anything. You just sit there and watch her eat a pie for like 10 minutes.
What kind of pie was it?
It was, I think, a blueberry pie.
Lovely.
Yeah. So she literally just eats the pie.
Now, is it as pretentious as that one Netflix movie that won Best Picture, or it might have been it was nominated at least.
You thinking Roma?
Roma.
Yeah.
Roma, that begins with like a 10-minute shot of just like a water fountain or something like that.
Yeah.
That level of pretentious?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
I would say, yeah, it's definitely up there. I said there are only 20 lines of dialogue. That's not entirely true, because there's this one scene, like probably 3/4 of the way through the movie, where this guy sits down and he gives this big grand speech to all these party goers about how everything is sort of transient and everything's going to die and burn out, and then the universe is going to go into full entropy mode. And, yeah, so it's like this really, very much a bummer. Yeah, so the movie's, it's definitely not a movie you want to watch if you aren't prepared for the a certain level of pretentiousness that comes with it.
Well, it is an A24 movie.
It is an A24 movie, which makes a whole lot of sense. Though A24 puts out a lot of good movies.
Yeah,
I do like a lot of their movies.
I really want to see Lighthouse.
Yes, Lighthouse is so good. I love Lighthouse. That movie is like a fever dream. Like, you never know which way is up in that movie, and I'm there for it.
I just want to see Willem Dafoe just going at it.
He is awesome. He is so good. When there's this one speech he gives that like about Poseidon, like reclaiming the land or something, and it's just like, it's like this super epic, like, sailor chant. It's fantastic. It's really good. He's so awesome in it. Next movie, The Founder, the movie about the founding of McDonald's.
Boy.
Yeah. Basically, this one guy came to the McDonald's founders about franchising, and like he basically said, "Put me in charge. I'll handle this." And basically, as he got more and more power, he grew it got more and more to his head until eventually he muscled them out of McDonald's ownership, and he became the quote unquote founder of McDonald's. And it was really good. It has what is his name? Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. As the founder, and like it's just like this really good film. Apparently, it's really historically accurate because like I watched this one YouTuber's video on it forever ago. He does like historical, like he reviews films based on their historical accuracy, and he said like this is one of the most historically accurate ones he's seen. So like you could definitely tell like they just have a lot of moments where they just sort of explain their history, which is really great. So like it's a great movie. I'd highly recommend checking it out. I believe it's is it for free? I want to say free on Amazon Prime if you have a Prime membership.
Okay.
You can watch it for free.
Might have seen that same YouTuber talking. Has he talked about like Braveheart and
I think so. Yeah.
stuff?
He's called the Cynical Historian.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know I've seen at least one guy who I know I saw his videos on Braveheart, or at least I got through part of the Braveheart video just because I disagree with a lot of those kinds of people on Braveheart. I think Braveheart's a fantastic movie.
Yeah,
I don't care that it's not historically accurate.
You don't have to have historically accurate.
But a lot of those people are like, Braveheart's a terrible movie because it's not historically accurate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But then I saw his video on Kingdom of Heaven, which is really good because like Kingdom of Heaven, one of its biggest issues is its historical inaccuracy because it takes place in the Crusades.
Yeah,
and it tries to act like it has a very agnostic message.
Yeah.
But it portrays it's not that it portrays like the Muslims as too good and the Christians as too bad. It just portrays the Christians as too bad.
Oh, I see.
Like no, there are basically no good Christians in the movie. There are good and bad Muslims, so it has a decently nuanced view there.
Yeah.
But it was Ridley Scott, not James Cameron. Ridley Scott. I don't know what he was going. But then the movie has an agnostic message, and the big rousing speech at the end, right before the final battle, is an agnostic message in the Crusades, in medieval times.
Yeah, fair.
In a time when where people were even more religious than like in almost nearly any other period of history.
Yep, exactly.
So it was that it actually becomes a problem.
Yeah, that's fair
because it's just hard to take it as seriously.
Yeah.
And then I also saw his video on the death of Stalin, and he's Death of Stalin is actually pretty accurate. It's just like the timeline is kind of scrunched down, but that's about it.
Yeah, understandable. So that was pretty good. I like that. Next movie I watched was The Kids Are All Right, which is
I've heard of this.
Yes, it came out in 2010. It stars the guy who plays the Hulk. I can't remember his name.
Not Edward Norton.
I can't remember his name. But
his name slips my mind.
Yeah, I'm just terrible with names, so I always forget. But he's in it. There are a few other actors and actresses you would recognize. Like there's the kid from what is it called? The movie. It's the board game. It's not Jumanji, but it's like the sci-fi one. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it has the kid from that.
Mm-hmm. I forget the name of that one too.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going crazy, but so that was good. It's about this Mark
Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mark Ruffalo.
As soon as I reach for the phone.
Yes, it's about these two kids who. Basically were born by sperm donation to a lesbian couple, and basically they try to rekindle with their biological father after years of being apart from him, and basically it's just like this sort of short vignette about them coming to know him and like all of the family drama that arises from that. So it's pretty darn good film. It had really good reviews, and I watched it, and I'm glad I watched it because it was a good movie. It's definitely a movie that leaves you sort of wondering which way is up. Like, there's no clear good. It's not clearly good or bad. It's just kind of like, well, things are a little bit more complicated now than when they first began. So, yeah, I really like that. The next movie I watched was The Host, which this one baffled me because it got a lot of really good reviews on like Rotten Tomatoes. Then I watched it, and it's just like it didn't grab me. It's a Korean film about this. Basically, the U.S. military dumps a bunch of formaldehyde into their river in like Seoul, and it makes this monster. And the monster kidnaps this guy's daughter. And basically, he tries to go and track her down, but the entire time they think he's infected by a virus from the monster. So like. It's just this really strange film. It has no real central. I mean, it's him trying to find his daughter. That is sort of the central conflict. But like, it just sort of meanders around for a little while. They go from here to there, and there's no real connection between scenes. I mean, it's not the worst movie I've watched. I don't think it was fairly decent. I mean, but I don't get all of the hullabaloo that it got from like ratings. I think people just rated it highly because it was a foreign film, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is art." Yes,
it is art.
But
I feel like I'm not artsy fartsy enough for like any of these movies.
A lot of these, especially a ghost story, like if you're looking for not an art movie, don't watch watch a ghost story. Watch Train to Busan though. That's a good movie.
Train to Busan.
Yeah, I believe it's on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime,
you kind of have to get acclimated to those kinds of movies.
Yes, exactly. You got to watch a bunch over a long time. And eventually you're like, okay, I kind of understand a little bit of what's going on here.
Yeah, you can barely drag me to like the blockbuster movies in the theaters. I'm just not the biggest movie person.
Yeah, understandable.
Yeah, it's tough because like movies are so much more of a commitment in some ways than other mediums. Like a game or a book or whatever you can put down. Yeah, be done with it. TV shows generally not that long in an episode.
Yeah.
Movies you have to sit down for like hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes more. Yeah. And it's like if I'm gonna do that, like honestly, it has to beat out me rewatching movies I already like.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, why would I watch? This needs to convince me to watch this instead of rewatching Monty Python.
Yes.
It needs to convince me to watch this instead of rewatching Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Or Death of Stalin. Or any of the movies that I've watched and I'm like, I need to watch that again. It needs to beat out those, and it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Which is why I set the hard rule of it has to be above 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. I basically was like, I'm not going to waste my time with movies I don't want to watch. So let's watch the good ones, the good stuff.
Now, are you going by audience or critic score?
Critic score, but I am looking at the audience as well. So if it has a low enough audience score, I don't bother with it.
Yeah. The critic darlings are...
Yeah, which is why I think I was burned off the host on that. Because, I mean, I think the audience review is still good on that one. I don't think it was as good as the critics, but, I think it was less, ultimately. But they still rated it good, so I don't know. Maybe I just don't get it. It's just not a movie I get.
Well, listen, you're not gonna get all those movies. Sometimes the director makes a movie for them.
Yes.
And that's fine. It's just, but I don't think it's very good.
Yeah, understandable. Next movie I went to saw was in theaters. I went to go see Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh boy!
Yes.
Oh boy! Is it any good?
No.
Oh no!
It is about the most average movie I can think of. It is.
That's kind of depressing. I was hoping for good things.
Yeah, it's very by the numbers. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it is very much by the numbers.
How much of a soft reboot is it?
Very hard reboot, actually. On the scale of from Ghostbusters 2016 being a complete reboot or all the way to Force Awakens being a soft reboot, where is it on that scale? It's a sequel to Ghostbusters 2. But it technically makes the 2016 movie not canon.
Well,
it is technically no longer canon.
It wasn't canon anyway because it was doing its own thing. And is it better than that at least?
Yeah. Oh, so much better.
Okay. Yeah, at least there's that. So it's about as good as Ghostbusters 2.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's a direct.
Boy.
So it's a direct sequel to Ghostbusters 2 with a lot of elements of Ghostbusters 1 thrown in. It's clear they were just trying to hook people on sort of the star appeal of the original, just sort of like the hey guys, this is Ghostbusters. You know Ghostbusters?
You like Brand?
Do you like Brand?
Here's Brand. Franchise?
Yes.
Wow. Remember that thing you liked in the 80s? Wow,
look,
here it is again. Yep. Is it as good? No.
Nope.
Did it ever get as good as that? No.
Nope.
Ghostbusters 2 wasn't good. The only good Ghostbusters is Ghostbusters 1, and they've made 4 movies.
Yep. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so that movie is like the dictionary definition of average. Like if you have literally nothing else in theater you want to see, just go see it. Like you'll be entertained for like an hour and a half. However long it is. It's probably like an hour and a half.
Is Paul Rudd any good?
He's great. Okay. Yeah, I love Paul Rudd.
I like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he's great. I thought he killed the role, so and he did a good job with it. Okay, after that, I watched another zombie movie. I watched The Ravenous, which is a movie about a zombie outbreak that happens, and the movie takes place in rural Quebec. Yeah.
That's so location.
Interesting.
Yes, it is. So basically, it takes a while to get to the plot. Basically, it takes maybe like an hour to get to the actual, like, all the survivors are together and they're now trying to find shelter or whatever. So, like, it kind of meanders to its plot. But I mean, you know, I thought it was all right. You know, if you just view it as like a bunch of individual vignettes of people surviving the zombie apocalypse, like, you know, you'll come out of it satisfied. And, you know, I did. I thought it was all right. You know, not exceptional in any way, but, you know, decent. Next movie I watched was Game Time, starring Willem Dafoe's counterpart in The Lighthouse, Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson.
Yes.
Basically about this guy who tries to break his brother out of a hospital after he got arrested for robbing a bank. Because they both robbed the bank, but only his brother got caught, and so he's trying to break him out, basically. It is a stupendous film. Like, oh my god. Like, the people in that movie are just like the biggest sleazeballs like you'll ever see in a movie, and like it's just like so attractive. Like, you just can't help but, you know, like, love to hate them. Would be how I describe it. Like, it's really good movie. I would highly recommend checking it out if you got the time. I think it's on Netflix, so just boot up the old Netflix, sit down, watch it. It's another A24 flick, really good. After that, I went out to theaters once again and saw House of Gucci by Ridley Scott. Yeah. So he did this one. It's about basically how the current state of the Gucci brand came to be, and the murder that sort of caused it to become the way it is now. Because basically, the guy running Gucci at the time got murdered by a hitman hired by his ex-wife. Yeah, so it's all about their life basically leading up to when he gets killed. So basically, them falling in love and then falling out of love and then eventually to the murder. And it was all around a pretty decent film. As my brother put it, there are a lot of boring sections where you just sort of wonder, why is this in the movie? Why are you making us watch this? And beyond that, you know, the interesting parts are really interesting, but there is a lot of downtime. There's a lot of filler. So I would not recommend going and seeing it if other better movies are out. But you know, it was decent. I'd put it a little bit above Ghostbusters Afterlife in general.
If you have to see a Ridley Scott movie, you'd better go see The Duel.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that one's better. Yeah.
Okay, that movie came out, and I saw, and the first time I heard about it was I saw a trailer when I was at like a taco shop, and it was playing on one of the TVs, and that was the first time I heard about it.
Wow.
And then after that, the only thing I heard about was, wow, this movie bombed.
Yep. Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. Yeah. But, you know, I heard it's a better movie, so, you know, maybe go see it if you got nothing else.
It looked cool.
Yeah.
I
like the plot.
I'm down for sword fights.
Yeah.
And
pretty rad.
Adam Driver doing a sword fight that is well choreographed sounds good.
Adam Driver's in both those movies. Ridley Scott's really taken a shining to him.
I guess so. He saw Force Awakens and he was like, I love this guy. I love the cut of his jib. Yeah. As soon as he took off the mask, he was like, that's the guy. That's him. That's him.
That's him.
It's him.
But so that was, you know, decent movie. Next and last movie I watched was Lion. It's about this Indian kid who it's a true story, a biopic, about this kid who is basically, he loses his family. He gets on a train by accident and basically gets carted away like 1,600 kilometers from his home, and like basically has to live on the streets until eventually he gets put into an orphanage and adopted out to this Australian family. Then 25 years later, he tries to hunt down his family, like try to track down where they live, because like he couldn't remember the name of their village. So it's basically like he has to basically work backwards with where he ended up going back to try to find out where he came from. So like it's all the time it's like destroying his family life in Australia. So like he's trying to balance his life in Australia with finding his true family. And good film all around, I would say. I really, really enjoyed it. Dev Patel played him as an adult. He did a really good job with the role. So I would highly recommend it. It's on Amazon, I believe. So if you have a Prime subscription, you get it for free. So you can sit down and watch that one. That one comes highly recommended.
Okay.
All right, that does it for all the movies I've seen.
Whoa, Power Hour done.
Power Hour over.
All right, wrap it up.
Yep,
So.
here we go. See you later,
That's
guys.
it. That's all we're here for.
Bye. Now on to TV. I watched a little bit of Hawkeye, the TV show.
Is it any good?
It is very average.
Oh boy.
Yep, it's another average
Another one.
series. Yeah,
Another one.
average.
yet another average series from Marvel. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's.
Wow.
I mean, it's.
I mean, that's a step up from Eternals,
You
from
know it.
everything I've heard.
yes, the Eternals is a train wreck and a half. So yes,
I saw a clip of it that looked like a PS2 cutscene.
yeah,
It's
pretty
like,
much.
It's like, wow, I'm getting flashbacks to the last fight in Black Panther.
Yes, exactly.
The CGI. What is with Marvel CGI these days?
I don't know.
Like friggin' Thanos was amazing.
Yes.
Like the evolution of Gollum to Thanos. You see, it's like that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then you just have we have a fight the whole movie takes place in a green screen, or this whole fight scene takes place in a green screen.
Yeah.
And then we can't have the actors do this or the stunt, and we don't want to pay a stunt double to do this, so CGI him, and it looks awful.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. It's bad. It's not good. And Hawkeye, like I said, dictionary definition of average. Like, if you want to be entertained for a little while,
I like
check it out.
Hawkeye the character.
Yeah,
so.
he's great.
It's like if you like Hawkeye, then
Yeah. It's basically the series is him passing the mantle off to a younger generation. So you know, it's a decent movie.
Captain America gets to retire, then so will I. Dang it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to be fair, this is the guy who wanted to retire the entire time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very
Yes.
true.
like Captain America retiring, that's a little contentious. Hawkeye, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it. This is the guy who freaking had that line where there's a bunch of robots flying around. I'm running around with a bow and arrow. It's crazy, man.
I'm not meant to be here. I'm done.
This is the guy who saved Age of Ultron by having a family.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, so very average. Watch it if you want, or not. You know, it's whatever.
I still have no interest in anything Marvel after Endgame.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen Far From Home.
Yeah,
and No Way Home's coming out, and I have friends who are getting hyped up about it, and I'm like,
I do
want
love
to.
Spider-Man though, but
I like Spider-Man, and I like this Spider-Man, so I should catch up, and then I never do.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't blame you. A lot of Marvel, Disney, I guess, movies since Endgame have been just so lackluster.
just either bad or lackluster, and it just feels like they're kind of spinning their wheels. Like the best movie that they came out with was Shang-Chi, and I heard it's good.
It is good. Yeah.
And then the best series is, depending on who you ask, either the first half of WandaVision or Loki. And even then, I hear bad things about both of those shows from certain people.
I'm sure some people are disappointed with Loki, the direction it ends up going, but I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was really good, minus the sort of mass. Yes.
The self-cessed.
Yes, the self-cessed.
The
Exactly.
self-cessed.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, minus that.
Who
I
thought that was a
good?
good idea?
I don't know. Good question.
What? Who at Disney? Was there nobody at Disney who looked at that and was like, "Hold on a second.
Hey, hold on, this might be problematic.
Hold on. Put the brakes on." Well, no, because they write these things in a week, so you know.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have time.
Like, I get that feeling like so much. If the Black Widow being written in a week is like an industry standard, that explains so much. That explains so much about all of Hollywood.
Yes.
Because like most movies these days have terrible writing.
Yeah.
And it sucks because like that's your skeleton.
Yeah.
That's the skeleton for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Fair.
I don't know. I'm just man. I've seen bits and pieces of Netflix Cowboy Bebop, and it just
I haven't bothered with it.
I haven't bothered.
It's killing me, man. There's an actual line is "Welcome to the Ouch, motherfuckers,"
Nice.
and that's supposed to be a big awesome, cool line. And there's another line where someone talks to Jet, who is black in this version, and I think he says something like, "Is this because I'm black?" And she says, "Well, yes, you are black and male." And it's like, who talks like this? Who talks like this? No.
Yes.
I don't even. I kind of want to hate watch the show, but I don't. But I don't want to support it at all.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
But anyway, the last show I watched was Clannad.
Yes.
I finally
yes.
sat down.
You told me about this. Something
Yes.
good. Let's go.
I love it. Oh my god! It's
did you
so
get
good.
how far did you get?
I'm on episode 16 right now, 16 or 17. The Kotomi arc just finished.
Mm-hmm.
They just got started on the arc in which they are battling basically the choir club for an advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is
Yes.
so good. I love Fuko's arc. Oh my goodness, it was so good.
Here's the thing about the Clannad show. It's based on the visual novel,
Right.
And the way the visual novel works is you go down the storyline for each character, and then you start back at the beginning.
Right.
So Fuka's arc works well in the show works well in the continuity of the show because I'm pretty sure there's no romantic angle in the visual novel. I haven't gotten to her arc yet in the visual novel, but I'm pretty sure there's no romantic angle because it's a kid.
Right.
But then like for some of them, Hitomi, is that her name?
Kotomi?
The girl with the pigtails.
Yeah, I think that's
Twin Tails.
I think that's Kotomi.
The one who plays violin horribly.
Yes.
Yes. Hers, from what I've heard from people who've read the visual novel, it doesn't work quite as well in the show because there's no romantic angle there.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, but that show's amazing.
Yes.
And then when you get to After Story, it gets even better.
I've heard After Story is one of the best anime ever made.
Yes,
so
I would agree with this.
I'm really excited to get to it.
And I'm worried that when I get to the visual novel, I won't care as much because I won't have the gorgeous Kyoani animation.
Yeah.
Because those guys are amazing at everything they do.
Yes, they are.
Just like they don't do any like big flashy stuff like a Ufotable doing Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
But the character animation is just like the best in the industry.
Yeah. It is fantastic. I absolutely love it. It's so good. Glad I decided to sit down and watch it because I watched it on recommendation of this girl I met at a running party I went to.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, she was the sister of one of the runner's girlfriends, and she we just sat and talked about anime and games and stuff for the longest time. And she was like, "Yeah, you should totally check out Clannad. It's one of my faves."
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, "Sure, yeah, let's do it." And sure enough, I decided to watch it, and it's very good.
It's amazing.
I can't wait to get to After Story.
Yeah.
So that covers everything I've watched.
Real quick, how do you like the comedy?
It's great.
It's great.
Oh, it's
great.
The main character is such a lovable rascal.
Oh,
I love him so much.
He's so good.
I just love all the pranks he plays, all the stuff with Fuko, where she would zone out and he would have her do something crazy.
Yep.
I loved it.
And then dang it, what friend's name? I forget his name. Tsunohara. Oh my gosh, just all the stuff messing with Tsunohara is
It's
amazing.
so good.
The one cut where all of a sudden he's sitting on Tsunohara's shoulders and Tsunohara doesn't notice until he looks up.
Yes.
It's so funny.
It's so
What is Clannad?
Okay, so Clannad is this guy. He's a delinquent, as in he's a Japanese delinquent, which means he skips school a lot.
Yes.
He doesn't do the drugs or anything, but he does skip school a lot, and he's in a nice honors school, so that's even worse. And he just has no purpose in life. He doesn't care, and then in the visual novel you go and you meet some people. Some of them you already know, some of them you don't, and then eventually he finds purpose. And he finds purpose by helping them out through their problems and stuff. And in the anime, it's really he meets this one girl and they both kind of support each other and help other people work through their issues. And it gets there's little hints of supernatural stuff. One of the girls people are like, "Wait, who are you talking about?" And it's like, "Come on, you should know this person." And it's like, "No, I've never seen this girl in my life. I've never seen this girl that you're talking about."
Have you ever seen what is it? Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai?
I have seen parts of it.
It's
that show is also great.
It is so good. I absolutely love it. After I finished up the Fuko arc, I was like, oh my god, Rascal copied this almost directly from
a little bit.
I was like, dang, wow. So I was getting major Rascal vibes.
Like, not quite, but yes.
Yes, it is very good. You should definitely watch that one if you haven't watched it already.
I need to keep watching it because
Yes.
I started it and I really, really liked what I watched, but then, I'll watch something and I'm like, wow, this is great, and then I just stop for no reason.
Yes. Okay, that was everything I've watched. Now, in terms of things I played, I beat Alan Wake Remastered. Fun time. I don't remember if I had beaten it last time, actually.
Don't
I
think
may
so.
have mentioned it. Yeah,
I don't think so. I think you started it.
Yeah. Great game. It's a classic.
Oh,
and,
that game's fantastic.
Yeah, they teased it a potential sequel, which I'm very excited for. So we'll see how that goes.
I would love to have a sequel to that game, especially because American Nightmare doesn't resolve the plot.
Nope, not at all. So I'd really love to see them take that in a new direction. After that, I played an interactive art exhibit, Kid Amnesia, by Radiohead. Basically, Radiohead, the 20th anniversary of their album Kid A is coming up, and so they wanted to celebrate it by putting out an interactive art exhibit on the PS5. And it is incredibly fascinating. Like, oh my goodness, it is really, really good. Like, it's totally for free, so you can just download it on the PS5. And, like, it's just, like, a great way to spend, like, an hour. Because, like, it's a really short exhibit. So, like, you just basically go through all these little mini exhibits that are themed after each song off of the album and a couple of extras. And, like, it's just this absolutely beautiful, gorgeous experience that, like, wow, by the end of it, you're just absolutely...
That's a cat.
That's a cat
jumping into a box.
Jumping into a box in its natural habitat.
Yes.
It's just, like, by the end of it, you're just, like, absolutely awestruck. Like, it's definitely a nice experience. I would, like I said, it's free. I would highly recommend checking it out, especially because Kid A is such a great album, and they have a lot of the music from it on there.
And here we hear the domestic shorthair in its natural habitat.
Enjoying yourself over there,
Oh yeah,
Sophie?
it's a cat. They love boxes.
This is true.
So,
For any size.
Yes.
Any size cat.
after
Yes.
that, I got back into, at the behest of my cousin, Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's a pretty fun game.
Oh boy, that game.
They've changed quite a bit of it since launch, and even more so since I played it last, which was, I don't know, like a year ago or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's a pretty good game. Tons of fun with friends. So, you know, if you got a couple friends, just sit down, click out a few games.
That's
Fun
I bought that game and I downloaded it on my computer and I started it and I was like, this is too much,
Yes.
and I never played it again.
Yeah, it's very tactical. Like, you have to think through, like, every angle and, like, oh, how's the enemy going to approach this? And
It's like Counter-Strike on steroids.
it is, yeah, pretty much. It's very, I don't want to say realistic, but it's very grounded, especially compared to a lot of other FPSs. Then I got the legendary now, Battlefield 2042.
Oh boy.
That movie is a hot mess.
Is it as hot a mess as the new COD?
More of a mess. Yeah.
No.
The new COD.
Okay. Oh, new COD. Never mind. I should say new COD Zombies.
New COD Zombies is a mess. It's the worst in any COD. But Battlefield 2042 is basically just a mess, like, on every level. Like, multiplayer is not good. Their new BR isn't good. They don't even have a campaign, so I can't say the campaign isn't good. But basically, they're, like, no maps. They spent all of their time doing what was called, can't remember the name, Portal. That's what it's called, yeah. Portal, which is basically, like, all of the maps and all of the vehicles and all of the weapons and everything from, like, all of their past Battlefields, like almost every one. which is super cool, which everybody says is the best part about Battlefield 2042, which I would be inclined to agree. So you can basically just remake those games in Battlefield 2042.
So you can play a better Battlefield game.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, like, you can literally just, like, host, like, you want to play some Bad Company 2? Well, here you go. You can play it.
What else would you do?
Exactly. So the multiplayer, it's just so buggy. Basically, hit registration doesn't work at all in the chest area. Yeah, there's zero hit registration. Yeah, zero hit registration in the chest. So basically, you have to aim for the lower body or the head. Shoot anywhere, shoulders to belly button. You're not gonna no hit registration at all.
Gosh,
Yeah.
How do you mess that up?
It's so bad. There's so many bugs. The networking right now, like the state of the servers is just an absolute mess. You're constantly rubber banding all over the place. Yeah, the vehicles are somewhat broken. Like, you can take the hovercraft, you can just like ride it up the sides of buildings and like ride it up to the very top. There's this video somebody linked where they literally drove it up the side of a building to the very top and crashed it into a helicopter, and the helicopter exploded, and they got the kills for it. So it is unintentionally comedic. It's like GTA Definitive Edition right now, where it's just like entertainment that is being reaped from the pure disaster level.
I saw a picture of.
Oh, I want to see this.
GTA Definitive Edition,
Yeah.
man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the tough nut.
Beautiful.
The nut got rounded out. Which tells you exactly what they did. They put it in an AI to just upscale everything, but when it upscaled the nut, it rounded the edges.
Yep.
And the nut, that's not supposed to happen. The nuts are supposed to be polygonal like that.
Oh my god.
That's supposed to have those edges.
Yes.
It ruins the joke.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, so Battlefield 2042 is kind of a hot mess. The core gameplay's fine. I don't think it's anything to write home about. I don't think it's terrible or anything. But it's still pretty good. You know, it's classic Battlefield. So, yeah.
Speaking of GTA Definitive Edition, it was Joel on Vine Sauce got the game to crash by just standing at a drink vending machine and just drinking a bunch of sodas, and when he got to like 50 something, the game crashed.
That's hilarious.
And then it corrupted his save file. And he would not just I don't think it was even the save file. I think it was the game file, because when he would try to load back into the game, it would crash.
Oh my god,
that is fantastic. It does not surprise me one bit, considering Joel. I think that dude used to purposely corrupt PCs for like.
I think so. Well, yeah. This is Vine Sauce. They do. Vinny does all the corruption streams and stuff. Yeah, some of the funniest stuff I've seen, just because glitches make me laugh.
I think Joel would like purposely take old PCs and download as many viruses as he could, just to see what like how far he could push it.
I know he's done like he got an old PC and he got like old hardware, and it was old text to speech hardware, and he just started doing voices and stuff, and it would play back what he said. Because it when he started to get loud in the old microphone, it just didn't record it, so it's just all of a sudden going from like skipping over to the thing from like quote something he said to the next thing, and it's just the strangest thing I've ever heard.
That's hilarious. So yeah, that's my experience with Battlefield 2042. Next up is Guardians of the Galaxy. It was on sale on PlayStation, so I was like, you know what? I can't not buy this. And so I bought it, and I played a little bit of it. It's pretty good. The voice acting isn't the best, I will say.
Well, that's what you get when you don't hire Chris Pratt.
Exactly.
Which is why they hire Chris Pratt for everything.
Exactly.
That's why he's Mario and Garfield.
Oh my god.
He will soon be voicing all of us on this podcast.
Oh my god. Chris Pratt, no.
See, here's the thing. I like Chris Pratt. I like him. I like him a lot.
He's great.
Why is he being hired for all this stuff?
Why not?
His agent is just going nuts. Like,
he's America's sweetheart.
Like, I can't say that. Wow, what a terrible agent, because he's getting him these big jobs.
Yeah, I know.
He's doing his job.
Yeah.
He's a great agent. It sucks.
I think he's gonna make a great Mario. I think he's gonna knock it out of the park.
I
I
hope so. I hope that he's taking it as seriously as he made it sound like.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I'm sure.
But for Garfield, I think he's just gonna do himself doing like just kind of affecting Garfield.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Bill Murray was like, I'm not doing it again.
Never again.
Never again. And then they were like, oh well, Chris Pratt, you want to do this? He's okay.
Look, yes.
I guess,
Okay.
sure.
So
Check how much you gonna pay me?
Yeah, exactly. That was Guardians of the Galaxy. After that, I played a little bit of Tabletop Simulator with my brother and his friends. Did you guys know what Tabletop?
Yes, I love Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah, we played. I can't remember the name. We played a card game where the point is you battle each other with like you draw one card and you play it, and the card has a special ability, and like so you can make somebody show you their hand, or you can kill off one of their cards, and if their card is destroyed, like they're out of the game. So I can't remember the name of the game, but it was a ton of fun. We played Betrayal at the House on the Hill. We played Codenames. We played some, what else did we play? Trivial Pursuit. So, we had a fun time. Had a good time. And the last game I played was Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like it. I don't like it as much as Persona. I do not like it anywhere near as much as Persona.
This game, I believe Castle Super Beast described it as the anti-Persona.
Yes, exactly.
Like Persona is this nice, polished, big, full game with a full experience, and the battles are pretty easy. It's not a very stressful game.
Yeah.
And Shin Megami Tensei 5 is like no, and it punches you in the balls, and it just keeps kicking you while you're down.
It is brutal.
And it's like, what? We're not gonna. Oh, you want this game to run well? No,
Yeah.
no. Also, you can sprint. You can sprint. Watch the frame rate go down to single digits. But hey, the hair will be running at a perfect
Beautiful.
30 frames per second.
It has to.
Lovely.
Can't not. But yeah, no, the game is brutal. Especially you have to grind for bosses. Like you have to. It's basically a requirement.
Well, welcome to Shin Megami Tensei.
Yes. You basically have to grind, and you have to build. Sometimes you do. You have to build your party specifically around targeting weaknesses.
Yep.
And if you unlock it, you sometimes need to give yourself affinity to block their moves or whatever. But it is a brutal game. I don't like it, like I said, as much as Persona 5. I still think it's a fun game. It hasn't been grabbing me nearly as much as I was hoping it would, though. I like the JRPG elements. The social elements are basically non-existent.
Yeah. Well, it's Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah, exactly. It's just all RPG all the time, which I mean, it's pretty good. I don't mind that at all.
It's a very good RPG, and I do, at least so far. I've gotten less far in this game than I have in Persona 5, and even then I haven't gotten that far in Persona 5. But I like the battle system in SMT more than I do in Persona.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good system.
Persona, you can just kind of steamroll a bit too easily with the one more system, whereas SMT there's a lot more strategy with press turn.
Yeah,
and the demon fusion takes much more of a front seat.
Oh, I was just about to mention that because in Persona 5, I don't think I fused a single time except to increase the relationship meter of the two girls or whatever. I don't think I fused a demon a single time, but in this you literally have to fuse sometimes just to get demons good enough to battle the bosses.
Well, this is good practice for Persona 3 because Persona 3 is the most Shin Megami Tensei of all the Persona games.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Well, I say that, but I don't know about Persona 1 or 2. I don't know anyone.
I don't think anybody knows about
Persona 2 people. Persona 2, there are people who do, and they're the crazy people because the game only the first of the Persona 2 games got released in the West.
Wow.
And it's on the PSP.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Yep. So yeah. But yeah, Persona 3. There were a couple of floor bosses in Tartarus where I made a persona specifically for that boss. I made a freaking moat, M-O-T, the coffin with the little scaly hand.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I made that one for one of the bosses, and I specifically made him to charm enemies as good as possible. So I would charm one of the enemies, because the bosses sometimes have multiple enemies in the floor bosses. And I would charm one of the enemies, and it's just this coffin opens up and this scaly reptile hand reaches out and just goes, yeah, and then it charms them, and then they attack their enemies.
And then the enemy goes, that hand though.
I mean,
what that hand do?
That hand, that eye peeking out of the darkness with the horn above it. You know, it's that horn though. Very, very rock hard, as they say. It gets you horny, I believe they say.
Yeah, toss its water bottle at you.
I even did that deadpan to not even to play into it.
Yeah. So SMT's good game.
Really good game.
I'm enjoying it so far. Can't wait to see how it concludes. And that does it for games. Now on to reading. I finished up Elantris. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good overall. I don't think it was as good as the Mistborn trilogy.
No, definitely not. It's probably his weakest.
Yeah,
either that or Alloy of Law. But I'd probably, if I had to go back and read one, I'd probably reread Alloy of Law just because it's pulpy and more fun, and the characters are, I wouldn't say better necessarily than Elantris, but I would say more entertaining.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So I finished up that. That was really good. I liked the avalanche at the very end, as always. I burned through the whole thing at the very end, so all in one sitting. It's nice. You have to.
Yeah.
So I finished Elantris. Then I started reading, what is it called? Deleuze, the philosophy of Deleuze or something. Deleuze an introduction, whatever. I think it's that last one, Deleuze an introduction, which is a philosophy book about the philosopher Deleuze. That is completely and utterly incomprehensible, which makes sense because his philosophy is mostly incomprehensible. So I gave up on reading that today because I literally just got to the point where I'm reading the page and I'm like, I do not understand a single word that has been printed on this page. And I'm like, I don't think I will understand a word that is written on this page. And so I was like, I can't do it anymore, man.
Freaking bringing me back to having to read Marxist papers.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And no, deconstructionist papers.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
No.
Yeah.
Just don't even bother.
But so I stopped reading that. I'm going to read a different book. I think it's called Almonds next. And then after that, I'm going to move on to Alloy of Law. Should be pretty good.
It's a good one.
All right, that just about covers it all.
Woo, bam!
Yeah, I know.
Bam.
It took forever. How long?
How long? We're over an hour.
Nice.
Yeah, good job.
It was the Aaron Movie Power Hour.
It was.
Now, Mitchell.
Mine's going to be considerably shorter because I spent, a couple weeks moving back down to Texas and Thanksgiving. Yeah. So not quite as much to talk about. But let's see. I did mention that I finished up the Spook's Apprentice series last time.
Yes, they killed the devil.
They killed the devil. The main character and the love interest did not end up together at the end of the series.
Oh, no.
Strangely enough.
Yes, I remember this.
Yes. That's right. Yeah, you
that's
did
right.
tell us this, actually.
Because, he had to get people interested to read his sequel series that he was already working on, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I read the first book in the sequel trilogy. I'm working on the second one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see. I told you about the devil gets defeated, and that brings about the birth of a new god.
Yes.
Really?
And about this race of demons or something in the north and the Arctic Circle. I think it's takes place northern Scotland.
Oh.
I think. And according to their pantheon, when the new god is born, it is the signal for them to charge out of the north and conquer the earth.
Of course.
Oh, sure.
Yes, that is what they have. That's how it works.
That's what they have to do.
Yeah.
Because
didn't you get the memo? That's what that's coming in a month or two for us.
Yeah. We're gonna have to hold the lines.
Yep.
So they have to do this, and they will charge out of the north and take over the world, kill all of the men, and enslave all the women.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had they had trying to describe. They had a moment of insanity where they murdered all of their women.
Oh.
So they have to enslave
Oops.
all the human women because they can't breed anymore.
I thought it was going to be some prima nocta kind of thing, but no, it's just we killed all the girls. Oops.
murdered all the women, and the women all accepted it.
Okay.
Sure.
And whenever it gets brought up, any one of like this race, Kobolos is what they're called.
Mhm.
Any Kobolos gets asked about, they're just like, we can't explain why we did this. There is no explanation. We just did it. We know. Okay.
That sounds like the author.
We messed up. Okay.
That sounds like the author couldn't come up with a good reason. Just said,
Pretty much. Yeah.
They all went crazy.
They all
killed them all.
kind of went crazy. The idea was that without women, they wouldn't be soft and they could be better warriors or something. I don't know.
Makes sense.
And the
But then they're like,
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And they're like, and now in hindsight, we realized there was a deep fatal flaw in the plan, which was, we can't procreate now.
Oops.
Whoopsies.
That's what we call an oopsie doodle.
Yes. So now they're gearing up. They're getting ready for war, and the new spook, who used to be the prince in the last series, he's now officially a spook because the old master is dead.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Is trying to gear up for it. Fake out death in the first book.
Oh.
Okay. Sure.
Already.
Yeah.
Already.
Like he dies in the first book.
Nice.
Nice. Is he alive by the end of the first book?
No. He dies at the end of the first book.
Oh, he dies at the end of the first
He's
book.
alive by the beginning of the second.
Of course.
Just
Oh.
good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, it's fine.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Did you die? Sadly, yes. But I
Yes.
survived.
I survived.
Because he's the seventh son of a seventh son, which is their big kind of world building thing where you have to be a spook. You have to be a seventh son of a seventh son to be a spook because that grants you some kind of natural immunity to witchcraft and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But he's also the son of a Lamia witch.
Oh.
So he's got
Okay.
some extra powers.
Yes. Yes.
Like being harder to kill, I guess.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. That's still 2 books. Alice is back, which was the love interest in the last book. So I was talking about how Mr. Steal Your Girl wizard came in.
Yes.
Yes.
And so he's
Yes.
dead now.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
well.
He died off screen. He came in off screen, stole Alice, died off screen. Alice is back.
Okay, well, you know.
Good stuff.
That was a very long lasting conflict. That was we were very invested in.
I was super
Yes.
invested. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Absolutely beautiful.
So yeah, I'm still working through those, reading, listening to those. So we'll
Sounds
see how
super
that goes.
interesting.
Y'all keep talking about like the Brandon Sanderson climactic avalanche.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can kind of describe his writing as more like fake out climaxes.
Huh.
Like we're kind of reach a climax, and then I look at the log, and it'd be like, oh, I'm not even halfway through yet.
Oh.
And then something happens to throw it back into the conflict that they then have
Interesting.
to resolve again.
I found it. I found the movie.
Seventh Son.
I found the movie. Seventh Son.
That's it.
Seventh Son.
That
They made a
was-
movie.
Yes.
What?
Okay. It has Jeff Bridges in there,
Oh, nice.
and the main guy's played by the guy who played Caspian in the Narnia movies.
Oh,
Alrighty.
okay. Sure.
Kit Harington's in it.
What? Really?
Yeah.
When was this movie made?
It's made in give me the date. 2014.
Yeah, it was made a while ago. But yeah, we do need to watch it.
Yes, we will.
Absolutely.
Record a watch along. I don't know. Freaking have everyone have to get access to Seventh Son, the movie.
A movie. Ah man, I love this series. As weird and wacky and stupid as it is.
Weird, wacky, and stupid. Just
Yeah.
great popcorn.
Ah man. Grimalkin's a lot more prevalent now. Have I talked about Grimalkin, the witch assassin?
No, I don't think so.
I think you mentioned him.
Grimalkin is like this super badass warrior, witch assassin or woman.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Sure.
She's
why
super
not?
Awesome.
neat, and I like her.
Yeah.
Even though she is very morally dubious at
Is
times.
now is she the other point on a love triangle?
Oh no,
Ah, dang it.
absolutely not. No.
Okay.
It's like no, fortunately. So yeah, she's super interesting. I really like Grimalkin. So yeah, I can't wait to see more of that. I don't know anything new with Alice is officially a malevolent witch now, but she works for the god Pan or something. So she's like an earth which
so more of a druid,
kind of a druid. So she's not like super evil, malevolent, just kind of morally dubious.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, interesting. I'd rather work through more with that. Although, so we do have a potential way to resolve this conflict with the Kobolos.
Oh boy.
Because Tom the Spook spoke with a ghost Kobolos, who was the architect for the new god that was recently born.
Oh.
And he says this was not the original purpose of the god he created. Was not for war. It was meant to somehow bring back the females, somehow. To allow them to create more females. And have a peaceful resolution.
How long have they been alive?
Apparently the Kobolos have been alive for a long, long time.
Okay, how long ago did they kill all the females?
I don't know, hundreds of years ago. Apparently they live, they're kind of like, they live long lives.
Okay, about to say, that seems a little odd.
They live a long time. They can live like a century or so.
Okay. So they're all getting old.
They are getting old. And it is a ghost. You got the information from a ghost.
Yes.
So
of course.
So that's fine. It's a very confusing series to try and explain to people. But
yeah, I can see.
But I like it. I like the series. I would recommend reading the first few novels at least, because those are still episodic before we get into the big plot stuff. So they're still episodic, so I would recommend at least trying those out and see if you like it.
I don't know, man. I look over and I see Ranger's Apprentice, and I'm like, but I already made a commitment to that one.
I feel like they do hit similar niches.
I think it feels like
I haven't read The Ranger's Apprentice, but I just kind of feel
it feels like they hit a similar niche of young adults, just kind of popcorn.
Yeah, young adult popcorn is exactly what I would describe the series as, and I'm in the mood for popcorn.
Yeah, thanks. I like popcorn.
Let's see. I've been playing more Breath of the Wild. I got back into Breath of the Wild because I still need to beat it.
Yes, you never beat it.
I got the 4 Divine Beasts, and I got the Master Sword. I haven't gone to Hyrule Castle yet.
Well, that's the last thing.
Yep. Well, not if you do the DLC stuff.
That's true.
I wanted to do the DLC stuff first because I wanted that motorbike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I did the DLC challenges and got the motorbike. I like the motorbike.
Oh, yes. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
Man, remember when people were making jokes about freaking when Spirit Tracks came out? People were started making jokes about how Link was going to be on a motorcycle in the next game.
Hey, look who's
laughing now. Everybody loves
Nintendo
it.
laughing all the way to the bank.
Yep.
Yep. So then I need to do the Master Sword trials.
Oh boy, is that
those are like the gauntlets?
Oh jeez, like the what was the one in Twilight Princess?
Yeah, it's kind of like the one in Twilight Princess.
Yeah,
and Wind Waker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that challenge that I got to do.
Good luck with that. I didn't get through the one in Twilight Princess.
I did by the skin of my teeth.
It's rough.
It is rough. I didn't even bother doing the Wolf one in HD.
Yeah.
I don't think I bothered playing HD. I just bought it for the Wolf Link amiibo.
Yeah.
And I never touched the actual game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I touched it once and I was like, yeah.
I touched it once and I'm like, this is Twilight Princess, which I've already completed.
Yep. Some of those models look...
Twilight Princess has some interesting character models.
Yeah, but they look even worse in HD. That's the problem.
It's like maybe they were meant for HD.
Like on the Wii, you have this kind of filter over everything, and it was like made for more CRTs and stuff, or like you could. It was like kind of intended to. Some people are going to use it on a CRT because it's on the Wii, and the GameCube, and then without all that, it's like, yeah.
It's like, alright, it's too crisp. It's too crisp.
Oh my gosh! I just remember the last room in the Twilight Princess Challenge Tower, whatever it was, is 3 Dark Nuts.
3 Dark Nuts. Oh, that was insane.
3 in one tiny little space, and I only know that because I got the strategy guide for Twilight Princess, because that was back when Wiis were hard to get.
Yep.
And so for my birthday, I got an IOU one Wii and Twilight Princess for the Wii and the guidebook. And I just read through that whole guidebook while I was waiting for a Wii.
Yep.
And then I remember that the strategy for that was like just quietly drop off the ledge, turn around, and try to fight this one Dark Knight in this corner.
Without aggroing.
In this corner without aggroing them. And it's like, alright, when you're done with them, you've probably aggroed the other two by now.
Probably.
If you haven't, aggro one.
And lure
it over.
Yeah, I aggroed like 2. I managed to keep 1 from aggroing, I think. Yeah, no, I think I did aggro all 3.
Yeah,
that was rough.
And friggin' Twilight Princess Darkness are no joke.
Yeah.
Hello.
I remember like one strategy for like all the skeleton bros that like yell and paralyze you is to just stay on the ledge and bomb arrow them from above.
That works.
Just take them out before you drop down.
Don't even fight them. Just bomb them.
Yeah. So I have to do the magic trials. Oh yeah, I think that's how I got through it, was because of the magic armor and stocking up on rubies. That was the only reason.
Get the biggest wallet you can. Get all those post souls. Get the biggest wallet you can. Fill it up. And go.
And pray. Yeah. So now I gotta do the magic sword trials, so that's gonna be interesting. I think fortunately it's kind of split up into 3 parts.
That works.
So it's 3 kind of medium-sized gauntlets, hopefully.
It's not as much of a gauntlet.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the later levels are going to be very interesting. What else?
So you're talking about roguelikes.
Yeah.
Talking about roguelikes.
There you
go. That's more like actual rogue from what I know. where you lose and you got to start all over completely. No progress between runs.
No permanent upgrades. Let's see. I tried Far Cry 4.
Okay. Did you get the ending at the beginning of the game?
Yeah, I got the special ending first.
Yes,
thing.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
First thing. Honestly, so far my favorite ending. Even though I haven't even beat it the other 2 times. I kind of run around, and every now and then the antagonist will talk on the radio, and he's like, "Why are you even doing this? Your mother wouldn't want you to do this." And I'm like, "Dang, he's got a point though."
He's got a point.
It's like, why are you fighting this pointless war that your mother ran away from? She wouldn't want you to do this. And I'm like, dang. I kind of buy that. No, he's got a point. Just haven't really grabbed my attention too much. Just Far Cry.
It's Far Cry.
It's Ubisoft.
Ubisoft game. It's Ubisoft game. First person.
Yeah,
first person shooter.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I went.
I hate Uplay. I hate Uplay so much.
Uplay's awful. Oh my god.
It's so awful. I bought it on Steam. Just let me click it on Steam and play the game. I don't need to log into this other service. Ubisoft.
Like, I played some Far Cry 3, and whenever I think about going back to I think.
But then I have to deal with Uplay.
I'd have to deal with Uplay. You know, I could just start like one of the newer Far Cry games. I could go to 4 and get that ending.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then I could just get 6 because Giancarlo Esposito. But then again, I want to play first person shooter on the PC because mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
And my PC can't run that game.
Yeah.
So I'd have to get it on the PS5 and play with a controller.
Yeah.
And I have not played many FPSs with controllers.
Well, good way to die. Yep, not good at it. Let's see. So then I guess that leaves Xenoblade 2.
Hey!
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now that you've finally finished X.
Yep, now that I finally completed X. And I completed Definitive Edition minus like some super bosses I don't particularly care about.
Who cares?
Yeah.
There's no like quest line for beating them, so I don't care about them.
No. It's just do it. And then
do it for fun.
And then the extra stuff they added in Definitive Edition with the Moogle. Or not the frickin' Moogle, that's Final Fantasy. The Nopon.
Yeah,
the Nopon. Was it the Nopon Sage?
Nopon Sage, yeah. I haven't really done any of the time trials either.
Yeah, I did ones as I went along just to get the costume stuff because you can pick whatever costume you want in Definitive Edition, which was the best edition.
Yeah, but super bosses aren't tied to a quest, so I don't care. In Xenoblade X, like the highest level super boss was tied to a quest, so I didn't want to beat it.
Yeah.
But I started on Xenoblade 2. It's a goofier tone than the previous 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite a fan of that right now.
Yeah.
I feel like it bothers me a lot more than it should.
Yeah. the way I rationalize it in my head is Xenoblade Chronicles is an old RPG style story. It's very grounded, takes itself pretty seriously, but there's still some humor here and there, mainly with character interactions, like Ryan and Charlotte. Ryan, Ricky, and all that stuff. But even then, they have a lot of good serious moments with them. Yeah.
Ricky has good serious moments. Despite
he has surprisingly good serious
moments.
He is a surprisingly wise character.
Yes.
For Ricky looking like that and sounding like that.
Hereupon, Ricky.
Hereupon, very cool.
Hereupon, father to 6 kids.
Yes.
Sounds awfully quirky.
Yes.
He is quirky.
Oh, Ricky's great. I love Ricky. Ricky's one of my favorite. You can solo boss the big super level 120 super boss with Ricky.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Actually, just solo it. But yeah, Xenoblade 2. The way I rationalize it is it's more of an anime storyline.
It is definitely more anime.
Yes. I mean, have you seen Pyra's design?
I guess. I have moved back home, so I have to play the Switch on the living room TV.
Oh my.
And my mother says, "What's that on that girl's chest?" Oh wait, that is her chest. And I'm just like, oh, just bury me now. Just crawl under a rock and die.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hate Pyra's design. I despise it. It's bad. Like when she early on in the game, she puts on like a cloak. To hide from people, and it's a better design. It's better.
I'm like, oh, hey, this is cool.
Please keep that design, which means that whenever I play that game, I'm just, as soon as I can, I'm going to switch to the other girl.
Yeah. I know there was the other girl that everybody was memeing on back whenever the game first came out, the ice one or whatever.
The ice.
Was it ice?
Ice. She's blue. That's all I know.
I don't know that one.
There is a blue one, but I don't know if it's the one people were memeing on.
But specifically because of her design and how, shall we say, voluptuous she was.
Oh boy, man! Like Nia's the best character. See, I want to play that game because of Nia.
Yeah,
Nia's great.
Like here's the thing: the voice acting is very touch and go on this. Very hit and miss.
It's weird.
It's when they're just talking normally, perfectly fine. When it's loud and they're yelling and emotional. What happened?
I don't know. And
have you heard Rex's yells?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It's no. It's even worse than it's Yeah. He cuts it off so fast, and I don't know why. And Rex's voice acting. I know it's the guy's regular accent, but his accent just floats all over the place. It's floating all over the world.
It's so weird.
Just
the voice acting is so weird.
And
I get to the scene where he's yelling, and I start side-eyeing that Japanese voice pack. But at the same time, this game is so aggressively Scottish.
Yes.
That I want to keep it on English because everyone is so aggressively Scottish and Welsh.
Well, Nia is aggressively Welsh.
And I love it so much.
She's one of the few video game characters I can point to who's Welsh.
Who is Welsh.
Yes.
And I love it.
And the Welsh accent's so weird that I need that in my life because you don't have it very often.
I know. It's like I'm gonna put up with Rex's screaming if I just get more Nia.
Like you hear like 5 different British dialects more often than you hear Welsh.
Yeah.
Speaking of Japanese voice packs, I downloaded it for SMT5
because
I
absolutely had to.
You frickin' weeb.
You weeb.
You
frickin' weeb.
It's a Japanese game, man. I gotta play with the original dub.
They made
Persona
Shin Megami Tensei 5 aggressively Scottish.
Yes.
No, man. The Atlas games have pretty good dubs, so
they do.
I stick with those.
I need the original experience,
especially because I don't know about Persona 4 Golden on the PC, but Persona 3 definitely you can't do that. You can't switch over to Japanese.
No.
I mean, I didn't bother.
You got to deal with Fuka's English voice actors,
whether you like it or not. And trust me, you won't.
You'll play the game and you'll run into this guy. What's his face? What's the sponsor? I forget his name. Ibuki? Is that his name?
Ibuki.
The long-haired guy with the glasses. Is Ibuki? Is it Ibuki?
I have no idea.
I forget. You'll run into this guy and he talks like this all the time. And you'll think, wow, this is as bad as it gets. And then you run into Fuka. And then, no, it's bad. And you're like, well, at least Mitsuru's the navigator. Oh no! And the rest of the game you deal with Akihiko Senpai defeated an enemy.
Nice.
So here's the thing. I did Fuka Social Link. And when she's not and when the voice actress isn't audibly speaking, I like Fuka.
Yeah.
I like her a lot.
I don't mind Fuka as a character. It's just when her voice
the voice.
It's the voice.
It's just the voice.
And when you have amazing performances from Mitsuru, Yukari, and Aigis, this is unacceptable. Mm-hmm. Like Aigis especially, because Aigis' character development over the story is just done so well in the voice acting, because it's very robotic at the beginning, and then at the end she has that speech towards the end of the game that just makes you cry almost.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, speak for yourself. Makes you flat out cry.
Yeah. Dude, Persona 3's ending is one of my favorite endings in a video game.
I cry every time.
It's so good.
I hear the opening notes to that song.
Yep.
And like a Pavlovian response.
Yeah, don't watch the answer. Definitely don't play the answer.
I've seen enough clips to know that I don't want to.
Just find the new pieces of music and just listen to Heartful Cry over and over because it's amazing.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Xenoblade 2, I'm having fun with it, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm having fun with the gameplay. The goofier tone is definitely kind of throwing me for a loop. It is definitely way more anime. They're doing like anime gags every now and then. And I'm just like, alright, come on, let's go next door. Oh no, our friend's in jail, but no, we gotta have a gag where Rex accidentally implies that Pyra's heavy and then she gets all sulky.
Yep.
And I'm like, guys, we're in the middle of a jailbreak here, let's go!
Oh, come on, go. Like, you get that kind like, you occasionally get moments like that in Xenoblade 1, but it's just, we're still going, we're still walking while we're doing these jokes.
While we're doing... No, we gotta stop and commit to this bit.
This is a bit. Commit to it. Commit to the bit, guys.
I'm like, we gotta go.
Yeah. I've heard that the DLC, Torna in the Golden Country, which you can also buy separately, is very good. But it's also very weird.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have to get to it eventually.
Eventually. It's substantially bigger than Future Connected. It's like
that's why I hear like it's almost a whole game in of itself.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
So
I know my brother beat Xenoblade 2, and he beat Xenoblade 2 before he even played Xenoblade 1. And I remember kind of side-eyeing him and seeing him beat the final boss, and it's like, oh, that's an interesting mechanic at the end of the boss there.
Yeah.
So I feel like that final boss is going to be more satisfying than Xenoblade 1's final boss because I was over-leveled as crap for that.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
But even he hasn't beaten Torna.
Oh boy.
So
yeah. I recently got into a boss fight the boss was level 15 and I was like level 12. And I'm like, oh, this is a problem, but I managed to beat it.
Yep.
By the skin of my teeth.
I don't know what the consensus is, but my brother likes Xenoblade 2's combat more than Xenoblade 1.
I haven't gotten super far, so I'm kind of just scratching the surface right now. I would say I like Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade X more, but that may change because there are some interesting mechanics that I haven't fully
been able to get to. Yeah.
Just kind of scratching the surface.
Yeah.
So once I learn and understand and can exploit those more, maybe I will change my mind.
So if Xenoblade 1 is an RPG story, and Xenoblade 2 is an anime story, what's Xenoblade 3's story going to be?
Well, Xenoblade X is just a mech.
It's just mech. It's just mech. So what's Xenoblade 3 going to be? Dark fantasy. There we go.
There you go.
No, it'll be a manga storyline. It'll be a manga, and it'll be a freaking death game manga storyline. And you'll get really interested in the beginning, and then it'll peter out towards the end, and then because they didn't come up with the answers to the questions, and they had to just kind of stall out for 10 years because it got really popular.
Whoopsies.
Oops. Oh boy.
let's see. I don't know.
That's about it?
About it for me, unless you want to hear weird stories from work.
What's the weirdest story from work?
Yeah,
Weird
give it to
story
us.
from work.
Right on us.
Well, there's our few turbines that I had checked that were just flat out in the middle of cornfields.
Oh. Just in the middle of
Just middle of the cornfields, and one day I'm checking a turbine, and I hear something walk out of the cornfield directly behind me. And I'm just like, oh, this is how I die. Children of the corn, they're going to make me into a scarecrow.
They've come.
Yeah, this is it. I'm trying to calculate, like, how fast can I get to the truck? How fast can I get to the truck and jump in, start it, and get out of here? Not quick enough. Turn around, it's a white-tailed deer.
Oh, just there.
Yeah, just a white-tailed deer.
And then it just stared at you.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I remember that, just like, oh, this is how I die.
Man, deer are strange creatures.
They are strange
They're
creatures.
strange creatures that you walk, you see one while you're walking, and then you touch the ground and you crush one tiny little leaf, and they run off. And then when you're driving down the road, they just stare at you as you barrel toward them.
Yep. The little brain can't comprehend speed of that magnitude.
I suppose not. You would think they'd be able to comprehend the noise at least.
Yeah, you'd think. They're not smart creatures, but yeah. So I'm finally home for the holidays for a little bit.
Yes.
And then in January, I will be heading out to Belize to study jaguars for a month.
Don't let them cave in your skull.
Hopefully not.
Yes, that would be bad.
And then drag you up into the tree, because that's what they do.
Yep.
Jaguars are nuts. Are they the ones that drag their prey up into the tree?
I think that's more associated with leopards.
Or leopards.
But I mean, jaguars might do it.
I mean, they're pretty closely related, aren't they? Maybe I'm remembering something else.
I'm trying to remember if they're related or if it's just like coincidence.
Oh.
I'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
It's not worth doing it right now.
Nah.
But yeah, jaguars.
Point is, they're not cheetahs.
They're not cheetahs. They're...
Yes.
So you're not there yet. You haven't made it just yet.
Not yet. Maybe eventually.
Getting there.
And other than, I don't know, just binging Psych on Amazon.
Oh, nice.
Oh boy. How's
great
that?
show.
How's that show?
Oh, I love Psych.
Have you already seen it?
I've seen like the first few seasons.
And now you're just going through even more?
Yeah, I'm just going through it again. I like Psych. Other than that, watching Columbo on the weekends because we don't have cable. So we get the old people channels like Columbo.
Boy.
Nice.
Man, Columbo is old, but I also love Columbo.
I mean,
Columbo's a classic. Can't go wrong with
Yeah,
that.
can't go wrong with Columbo. Although it is a funny name to say.
Detective Columbo.
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 What are we gonna name our character? Columbo.
Columbo.
Sounds like Bumbo. We wanted to name him Columbus, but we didn't want to name him Columbus. Columbo.
Columbo.
Bo.
Anyway.
That's all for me.
All right.
Sir Zach.
Yes.
On to you.
Maybe we'll have more next time, but we'll see.
Yes. So, work continues on the masters. I have declared my concentration in fiction, creative writing English in fiction concentration.
Nice.
So now I am registered or at least waitlisted for all my classes for the rest of my degree, which I only have, after this term, I only have 3 more terms.
Yay.
So I'll be done in next August.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which, it flew by a lot. It's flying by a lot faster than you would think, considering my other experiences with school, namely college, having to go an extra year because of student teaching. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But so I've done my second draft on my short story. I like it less than my first draft, but that's because I took some changes, and then it's like, okay, but I feel like I'm drawing focus away from what it needs to be. If I had more word count, a longer word count, I'd be fine. But I only have 2,500 words that I can work with, and my first draft was 2,500 exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know how I managed that.
So this one came in a little under, but I had to completely cut the end. I already in my first draft I had to cut the ending I wanted, and I had to cut even more of it for this draft. So we'll see how that works out. I had 2 major changes. One of them I think works really well, at least with the original ending, and the other one I'm not sure how well it works like at all with the story. I'm worried. I'm worried it might be drawing focus away too much from certain things, but that's all for that class. And for topics in British literature, did Oliver Twist and Alice in Wonderland, talking about childhood and stuff. That's fun. This week is going a completely different direction with colonialism. So there's Heart of Darkness, obviously, because that's like the most famous book on that. If you go for British literature on that topic, there's a Rudyard Kipling novel that I forget the name of.
I know which one you're talking about.
Something Kings, maybe, I forget.
Yeah, I read it back whenever I was in college. I forget the name, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. So there's that. From what I remember about Rudyard Kipling, he has some like actually interesting views on colonialism considering the time period he lived in.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And then there's a Sherlock Holmes story. I forget the name of it. Dang it, I can't get it. But it's with Heart of Darkness and the Rudyard Kipling one. It's British people going out into the world, and with the Sherlock Holmes story, it's foreigners coming into Britain. So I want to read the Rudyard Kipling and the Sherlock Holmes one because I like Sherlock Holmes, and I also like Rudyard Kipling. So
yeah,
because I actually read Jungle Book when I was a kid, and I really liked it. Like a lot of that book has stuck with me. Like the more I think about it, the more I remember about it. It's one of those books. And I wrote the rough draft for my final paper. It only had to be 6 pages. The actual thing has to be 8 to 12, and it could be unfinished because we had to write it during Thanksgiving week. That was a weird week because like discussions are usually the first initial post is usually due on Thursday, but you can't do that for Thanksgiving. So it's just everything is due Sunday instead. So I still got it done before Thursday just to make it easier on people who needed to respond to that and make it easier on myself. But I was worried going in that I wouldn't have enough to talk about to fill up 8 pages on this. And then I got 6 pages in, and I'm not even done talking about Gawain and the Green Knight. I haven't even gotten to Henry the Fourth Part 1. So I'm gonna trim some because I need to work in more sources. A lot of what I wrote I didn't cite many sources, so I'm gonna have to go back in and just like do more citations and stuff. But I have been going through some stuff to help with that. Here I have right here. Some Gawain and Green Knight here. Aaron, here. Take a gander at that. See if you can read Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Some soapin sum ensue, soured with spices. Oh, I understood that word. And a sauce so what in? It's like 3s. What is that? Is it supposed to be a Z?
Which one?
This letter.
That letter. I don't know what that letter is.
What?
I do know what this letter is. It's TH.
TH. Oh, I see. The. Okay. That the seg liked. The freck called hit a fest full frelly and oft, full hendly quen al the hapless. No, wait. Hathiless. What? Rehate him at one. This is beautiful.
Dang it.
Oh, do you want me to keep going?
No, I wanted to figure out where you were. Do you remember page number or anything?
No, I don't. Dang.
Dang it. Because then I could read Tolkien's translation of that.
All right, now let me.
All right.
Oh, here it is. Here it is. It's right here.
All right. Tell me what stanza it is.
It is 892.
Wait, hold on. 892.
Where'd you have it? Hold on.
I closed it as soon as you.
That's 1300.
Okay, so that's 1300. Maybe fits the something in stanza. Oh, jeez. Okay, never mind. They number them differently.
Ah, dang.
I don't. All right, let's see. Let me find one. This is nonsense.
If you find one early on, I can get you the direct translation.
All right, let me just kind of flip over to like. All right, I guess we should start with Fiat the First.
Fiat the First.
Sipen de Sage pu assault vetin et Troy.
Troy, yes.
Bor Britain e Brit de Bot et Asken. Beto Pitred et Trusen per what? What try for traitory pep to the west in earth hit what in here. Pe he's high need keen. Pasipen de I'm not even trying.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about Middle English. Chaucer is usually the go-to for the example of Middle English, and you can kind of piece together Chaucer.
Yeah.
Because Chaucer was in London, and our modern English is based on what they spoke in London.
Okay.
Gawain poet, we don't know his name. Gawain poet wrote in Northern England, and he wrote in his own dialect, which is impenetrable. So what you were reading, Mitchell, at least when translated by Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien, is when the siege and the assault had ceased at Troy, and the fortress fell in flame to firebrands and ashes, the traitor who the contrivance of treason there fashioned was tried for his treachery, the most true upon earth. It was Aeneas, the noble and his renowned kindred, who then laid under them lands, and lords became of well nigh and all the wealth in the western isles. When royal Romulus to Rome his road had taken, in great pomp and pride he peopled it first, and named it with his own name, yet now it bears. Tyrius went to Tuscany, and towns founded. Langobard in Lombardy uplifted halls, and far over the French flood Felix Brutus took on many a broad bank and bray Britain, established full fair where strange things, strife and sadness, at whiles in the land did fare, and each other grief and gladness oft fast have followed there.
I mean, when you read the direct translation, I can almost make
almost
sense of it.
Makes some sense of it. Almost.
Sipen de siege de pe assault west is de Troy. Like, that would make sense.
Yeah. Because Sithen is when.
Sithen.
But yeah. So, I could have chosen to...
Britain and Brent and Broken and Askedin.
I could have chosen to cite the Project Gutenberg translation that's up there, but I decided to go with Tolkien because I like Tolkien, and his translation is actually quite good. And it was published posthumously. So you can buy it. It's Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, edited by Christopher Tolkien, and it's also got his translations of Pearl, which is the other well-known poem by the Gawain poet, and another poem at the time called Sir Orfeo, which is a medieval version of Orpheus and Eurydice.
Oh, nice.
So, it's real. His translation's really interesting because he tries to keep it as faithful as he can in his modern English. So a lot of Gawain poet has a lot, or at least Gawain or Gawain. I say Gawain.
I say Gawain.
I say Gawain, but I know that Tolkien said Gawain because he rhymes it with pain. And it's like old, like Welsh Celtic stuff, so who knows? That when you ask people when you ask like scholars how do you pronounce this Celtic or Welsh word, you'll get like 5 different answers.
Yeah, because I think it depends on the region or something.
Yeah, it's who knows. They all have good arguments for them, so who knows? But a lot of the poetry in Gawain is very, very much focused on like alliteration. So you get so Tolkien preserves a lot of that, and the way he does it is it's like kind of prose to begin the stanza, and then it ends with verse at the end. So like when the siege and assault had ceased at Troy, and fortresses fell in flame into firebrands and ashes. That's more prose. And then at the end you get to where strange things, strife and sadness, all whiles in the land did fare, and each other grief and gladness oft fast have followed there. And it's more
verse and more rhymes, and it kind of has more of a meter to it, and it's really interesting. And then for Pearl, he does something entirely different because it's a different poem, and it's more A B kind of rhyming stuff. So it's really interesting. Unfortunately, I can't read all of it right now because I have to focus on Gawain for this paper, and this book is pretty decently long. Gawain ends right here, and there's a little bit of introduction stuff beforehand, so it's pretty short.
Yeah.
And then it also includes a lecture he gave about Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and that's about this long.
Wow.
Which is like almost as long as the Sir Gawain poet.
Yeah.
Or poem. So that's fun.
Yeah. That's neat.
But yeah, I enjoy this kind of stuff, and I also really love. I'm ready to dig into more of Henry IV Part 1 for that part of the paper, because I just love Henry IV. That's one of my favorite Shakespeare plays, and the more I dig into it, the higher it goes on the list.
Yeah.
It's one of those, and I am excited for next semester because I'm in a Shakespeare class for my second literature class.
Nice.
So that'll be fun. And that one's also my creative writing class is genre writing, which is sci-fi, fantasy, that kind of stuff. So that'll be tons of fun.
Nice. Because
I write fantasy. So that's everything with the masters. I finished the C.S. Lewis essay collection, The World's Last Night.
Oh yeah.
And the rest of it was really, they're all really good. The one that stood out there was one called Good Works and Good Work, which is about how you can't just be satisfied with doing good works. You also have to do good work in those good works. Yeah. So the quality of what you do, the effort you put in, is just as important as what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So it's a really interesting reflection on that kind of stuff. And the essay collection ends with the essay "The World's Last Night," and it's basically about how like the issue with a lot of modern Christianity's reluctance to talk about the second coming, that whole thing.
Oh yeah.
And how it's like it shouldn't be this big doom and gloom thing that people talk about. Like it should be a reminder that not only can you die at any time, the second coming could come at any time. The world could be done at any time. So you need to be focused on what you're doing in the present, because that's all you're guaranteed. Mm-hmm. So it's good. It's not just a good thing to keep in mind for like more theological stuff. It's good to keep in mind for just general living your life kind of stuff. And so if you shy away from that because it's an uncomfortable topic or whatever, then you're missing out on that. So it's a really, really, really good collection of essays. I highly recommend it. And because I love C.S. Lewis, I jumped in directly into another book of his called Reflections on the Psalms, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And I just recently, earlier this year, finished going through reading all of the Psalms, so it felt appropriate. And I haven't gotten very far in it, but it's very interesting. He talks a bit about the different views that Christians and Jews tend to have on judgment. Where if you read a lot of the Psalms, judgment is, when it talks about judgment, the psalmist is often asking, "Judge me, O Lord." He's like asking to be judged, mm-hmm. And it's like this is because they're thinking of themselves more as like the. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. More on you want to be, if you're the one bringing the case forward, you want to be judged because you're hoping to get something out of it, and it's looking at it from more that side of it, whereas Christians tend to look at judgment from the other side because we think of like great white throne judgment and that kind of stuff, where at the end the whole world will be judged and it's heaven or hell. Yeah, we think about it that kind of way, and the Jewish view is not necessarily that. So you have to keep that in mind when you're when you're reading the Psalms, but you shouldn't completely toss aside the Christian view either.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's interesting, and it's just that kind of detailed stuff that I just really like because I like it. Yes, now that you guys are here, you can take a good look at this Way of Kings leatherbound.
Yes.
And as long as you don't read a bunch, you'll get a decent. You won't be in trouble for spoilers. But it's the case has the nice.
That's a nice symbol.
Nice symbol on it, nice blue and everything, and then the books themselves, because it's in 2 volumes.
Yep.
It's just gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Absolutely gorgeous. And then what's even better is the pages are thicker than regular pages. They're printed on a nice thick paper, and I think that's so that they can get the gold trim all along there. They have the nice bookmark on there, and then the nice couple pages at the beginning of just artwork, and some of it, like this is the American cover. This is the Michael Whalen artwork. Michael Whalen's his favorite artist for books, and it was always his dream to have a Michael Whalen cover, and he got it for he got it for Way of Kings, and he got it for all the rest of the Stormlight, and then after that it's just even more artwork, and this one right here is the European and Australian artwork, cover art for the thing. Dang. And it's just gorgeous, this gorgeous map and everything, and then it's got nice colored printing on the thing, and then it's signed, and then he's got all these acknowledgments and stuff, and a big old preface where he talks about all the different versions of the book, and there are a couple just like 1 or 2 changes in this version from the version you buy on store shelves, where like he had the word backpedaling in the published version, and he changed that because backpedaling comes from bicycles.
Yeah.
And there are no bicycles.
Yeah.
Might be a problem there. But yeah.
And you get another gorgeous map, and it's gorgeous. And then you get these gorgeous colored little artwork things for each of the characters.
Yeah.
And they were already there, but they changed up the artwork a bit for this part right here, where it says like the chapter title. I don't know what exactly it's called, and the artwork for the character stuff is colored a little bit, just a blue color, and it's gorgeous. And then throughout the book, there's added artwork because the book Stormlight already has artwork in it, but then they added even more artwork in it.
God. Yeah, I remember that they have like little kind of journal sketches.
Yes.
Because I went through my cousins who are deep in Brandon Sanderson.
Oh boy!
And they basically had a conspiracy wall set up of all the sketches and journal entries.
Yep. They sound like they'd get along with my brother.
Yeah.
When it comes, my brother just finished the Cosmere.
Yeah.
When it comes to the way we read the Cosmere, he probably has a better technical knowledge of the Cosmere than I do, like all the magic systems and things like that. I probably have a better knowledge of the characters, and we're probably about equal on plot, just because I read it all in one go. He had a bunch of breaks in between. Yeah. But I probably have a better idea of the characters than him, just because that's what I pay attention to more when I read.
Yeah. But since I'm going to be in Belize, and it sounds like we're going to be kind of in remote housing, I'm going to have plenty of time to read.
Yes, you
do.
So
my plan is to just load up on Brandon Sanderson.
Load it up and go. Do it. It's good.
Yes. It's good. I'll get through a good chunk of it.
Yes. You can probably get through at least Mistborn Trilogy and Elantris. Maybe Warbreaker 2.
Yeah, we're safe.
That's 5 books.
I get through a good chunk in a month.
You can do 5 books.
Yeah.
We'll
see how busy they keep us.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to see how busy they keep us.
What order are you planning on going through?
What order would you recommend? Because I was kind of just thinking publication order.
Publication order is generally what I recommend.
Semi-publication and kind of keep the actual series together.
I don't even necessarily recommend keeping series together. Because Stormlight novels are big.
That's very true.
Stormlight novels are big. So do you want to go through 4 novels and 2 novellas all at once?
That's very true. On the other hand, knowing my memory, I would forget things that happened in the previous book, and I have to go back and reread the previous entries anyway.
I mean, it's up to you. I would recommend saving Stormlight for last.
Okay.
Just because that's the one that's generally the most connected to the others, or at least most overtly connected, at least later on. And it's you'll get like Elantris is baby Brandon.
Yeah.
The elements are there, they're just not quite fully formed yet.
Okay.
Mistborn original trilogy is fantastic, and then Warbreaker is great, but it's a lot shorter. And Mistborn Era 2 is it starts off kind of weak, but it gets better as it goes. And then Stormlight is just his magnum opus right now. Unless Wheel of Time is, because I haven't gotten that far in the Wheel of Time. But yeah, so I did just pure publication order, like just found a list of publication order of the Cosmere and just went through it like that. The only thing I haven't read is White Sand because I don't want to pay $100 for Volume 1.
True.
Fair.
At some point he's going to come out with an omnibus, which will have some extra pages at the beginning.
So, might as well.
Might as well wait.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I did forget to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Souls was on sale.
Yes!
So I got Dark Souls.
Did you start Dark Souls?
Nice.
1 and 2. I got Dark Souls, I beat the Asylum Demon, and I said, wow, this is a radically different control scheme from anything I played before and I'm used to. I'm going to put this on the side and finish a couple of other games first before I have to start fighting my muscle memory.
Yes.
Because I don't want to go through, like, I still
fair.
need to finish Code Vein and Breath of the Wild, and I don't want to have to fight my muscle memory.
That's fair.
Relearning every 5 minutes.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
Going between... I'll talk about this later, but going between a couple FromSoft games and Ghost of Tsushima was really weird.
Yeah.
Really
I
weird.
bet.
I'm like, okay, time to attack. Oh, no, I'm drinking a potion again.
Yep.
Okay, well, that.
Thankfully, the block button is the same in both of those.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So that helps. But for a couple things I watched, I wanted to watch some Arcane.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah.
And so I went onto Netflix and I kind of looked at the trending list of Netflix stuff, and I was like, no Cowboy Bebop. I get a little joy out of that. But like Stranger Things is on there, Squid Game's on there, Seinfeld's on there. No Cowboy Bebop, and I was like, yes. Maybe it hasn't been renewed for a second season yet. There's still hope. Because everything I hear about that is terrible. Yeah, with a couple exceptions.
Yeah.
Some of the character interactions between Jet and Spike are all right. Those actors have enough material that they can work with it. But everything involving Faye is atrocious, and everything involving Vicious is atrocious. Everything involving Julia is atrocious. Everything involving Gren, because Gren is not Gren, is atrocious. And then everything involving Ed, because Ed shows up at the very end of the show and as the stinger to get you excited for season 2, and it's just terrible. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Oh boy, they take that goofy anime character and they try to do it in live action without any changes.
Doesn't work.
It doesn't work, and it feels like I've seen people say it feels like you're at a con. And I've seen a couple people say that it feels like a bad Nostalgia Critic bit. And I feel both of those. Oh boy. And then I was like, okay. Alright, I'll see Arcane on the trending tab. That's a little weird because it's been recommended a lot. Alright, let's just go to the search bar. So I search Arcane. Nothing. There's nothing. And I go, that's weird. And I think, okay, maybe I set my VPN to somewhere weird. No, I'm in Dallas. Okay, let me try Canadian Netflix. Canadian Netflix, generally, that's where you go if you want to find stuff.
Nice.
And so I go there and I open up Netflix again, And then I start typing in Arcane into the search bar, and it says Netflix had an error, retry. Netflix had an error, retry. Netflix had an error, retry. And I'm like, okay, this isn't working. Did they set something up with to where it doesn't work with VPNs anymore? As far as I'm aware, no. But okay, whatever. And then I set it back to Dallas, and I try searching in, nothing. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's my Netflix app. I have no idea.
That's weird.
So then I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I've spent enough time on this. I'm just going to go back to Disney Plus and watch another episode of Once Upon a Time.
Hey, there you go.
Yay.
So, Once Upon a Time, I still like it.
Yeah.
I see more of the flaws of it this time around, but it's the flaws where I kind of go, ha, this is the TV budget. Like there's this part in an episode where Snow White and Red Riding Hood are running away from guards, and this guard one of the Queen's guards shows up and grabs her. You're not getting away, Snow White. And then he just gets the crap beat out of him in the dumbest way possible, and it's just like, oh boy. And then there was a part where these guards just show up in a place, and then this werewolf lady without transforming zips over to them and just breaks his neck and breaks more necks, and then it's like, you led them here, Snow White. We're gonna kill you. Tie her up. I'm gonna transform into a wolf and eat her. I'm not gonna snap her neck like I did with everyone else.
Nice.
Oh boy. And it gives just enough time for her to get stabbed by Red Riding Hood.
Yay.
Okay. While she was in wolf form, she jumped at her while she was a wolf, and then when she's on the ground with like a big old fire poker in her chest. And I don't know where that came from, because the shot was so quick and the CGI was so TV budget that not Game of Thrones TV budget that I didn't see it.
Beautiful.
But I really like the show. It's kind of just popcornish, but it's still got it's one of those things where I feel like this has good writing, and the good writing is saving it, and I worry about that because I know the writing just takes a dip after the halfway point of season 3. So okay. I'm worried that, oh no, the effects are going to get better and the writing's going to get worse, just like Star Trek.
No.
Just like Star Trek. But then I remembered that, oh no, I remember some of the effects from season 4, and those weren't very good either. Maybe the effects won't even get good. But yeah, that's it for Once Upon a Time. I am almost caught up on Critical Role Campaign 3.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the middle of episode 3 of that, and they didn't do another episode last week, so I have a decent amount of time to catch up this whole week. That's great. It's a lot of fun. I'm interested to see what Travis is doing, because he did a weird thing with his character, and I've seen I don't want to spoil it because it's a really cool thing that you can kind of see it coming, but if you know the character, that because he's playing a character that he's played before in one shots of Critical Role. So you can, if you see the character, see how he's being used, you can kind of guess what's going to happen. But now I don't know. So I guessed one thing that was going to happen, but now I can't guess what he's going to do now. So I'm interested to see that, and I'm wondering if it's at the end of episode 5. We'll see. But everyone else's characters I absolutely love, and I will be sad to see. I think the guy's name is Robbie. He's guesting there for a few weeks, maybe months, and I'll be sad to see him go because his character is really good, and he works off the rest of the cast really well.
Nice.
So last big thing I watched. Other than Hololive clips have come back into my recommended feed.
Yeah.
They've come back in.
Yeah.
EN2 and then
EN2.
Yes.
Generation.
Yes.
Yeah, Mume has taken over my YouTube feed, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yes.
Mume's great.
I love Mume.
Mume's great. Crony's great. Those are the two from Gen 2 that I like. Although, Iris was kind of in between, and I didn't really care that much. But now that I've started to get more clips from her, it's I like her too. She's good. But I mainly my go-tos are Gura and Callie.
Yeah,
naturally.
Those two are fantastic, and they also play off of each other really well.
Yeah,
so
my go-to is still Pikami.
Yes, yes.
I'm like, I picked this one and I'm sticking to it. I can't afford to get more invested in other ones.
See, but then you get the Among Us clips with all of them, all of Hall IVN playing Among Us, and it's hilarious.
Very true.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious when you watch the clip where Gura and Amelia have this big old argument while running around this one area, and then you get the clip again with
another viewpoint. So
another viewpoint of two of them as ghosts, so they can hear they can hear their argument, but the two people arguing can't hear them because they're ghosts. And
I love it. They had the mod on where you can just like very faintly hear the ghosts.
Yes.
And like they would just like follow around the imposter and be like, "Ooh, you killed me, didn't you? Ooh, you killed me." I love that. I loved the Ina clip where she gets imposter like 3 times in a row, and Mume comes up to her and she's like, "Wouldn't it be funny if you got imposter again?" She's like, "Yeah, what are the odds?"
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. I thought I would like Fauna more, but Fauna does ASMR, so that knocks her right down to the bottom.
Oh, you should listen to Callie's ASMR stream.
No.
Where it's just pure torture. She puts a blender up to the microphone at one point.
Now here's the thing though, that might actually work. Because you know how much I hate actual ASMR.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Like, what's the point of ASMR? Like, what is supposed
to be very relaxing.
Fuck this waterfall. Even though you're sitting across the table, I'm still gonna chuck this at you.
You're not even hearing it in your ears this time.
I still hate that. I don't like...
Oh, boy. But yeah, freaking Jump King, man.
Hate ASMR.
Yes.
Like, it's supposed to give you, like, goosebumps and, like, a chill down your spine.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I get that from metal music. Here's the thing, though. Good metal, good, loud, screaming metal, that's what does it. So here's the thing. Callie's ASMR torture may actually work. That's going to have to be a little test. If we reach a dozen subscribers,
yes.
you guys can strap me to a chair and make me listen to ASMR.
There we go.
There's our goal. One, I'm going to bump it up to 100. I really don't want to do that, though.
Oh, boy. But yeah, Callie's been playing Jump King, and I look at that game and I go, no.
It's like, that just seems like a bad time.
Never.
No.
I could never do it.
No.
I couldn't torture myself like that.
I will happily watch someone else play it, and I never touch it myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then, especially when she gets other people on talking to her, it just becomes like a podcast.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah, I watched the clip with Mume, and who else did she have? Did she have on... Was it Bae?
I think it was Bae.
Yeah.
And Mume had like just woken up.
Yes.
Oh boy. They're all adorable. They're all adorable. And it's only partly because of the anime characters. Only partly. Although that does help.
Yes. It certainly helps.
It certainly helps. But I have also been getting more High Guardian Spice clips.
There you go.
Here's the thing. I finally found a pirated.
Yeah,
finally pirated
Finally, someone
baby.
pirated it.
Finally. And I kind of want to hate watch it just for the meme. Just because of the memes. But
just
at the same time,
do you want to watch an even worse Steven Universe?
Yes, of course. Why not?
See, Steven, I've heard everyone says like, Steven Universe used to be so good, and I'm like,
was it though?
I only watched that first episode, man, and I know people say it's bad, but that was bad. That was bad.
The show, I'd say in general, is good. The last season's definitely a bummer. It's not good. It's bad.
I did watch a video about the last episode, and I was like, oh, this show's trash.
Yeah,
this show is trash.
Yeah,
trash.
And then Steven Universe Future was a thing, and I heard like mixed things about it. So I don't know.
Maybe don't try to rehabilitate Genocidal maniacs.
Maybe don't. Especially by telling them, "I'm a kid. What's your problem?"
Yeah,
that totally works every time. If someone had gone up to Hitler while he was down in the bunker, like listening to the Russian shells outside, and said to him, "I'm a kid. What's your problem?" It would have been
dies.
like, "Well,
That's it.
You were right all the time. I will not kill the Jews anymore.
It's time to pack it up, everybody.
Pack it up. I will turn myself in."
Yes. So anyway, High Guardian Spice.
It's like, no, it's just remake Germany and not an answer to any war crimes.
High Guardian Spice. The biggest takeaway: just watch Gravity Falls.
Just watch Gravity Falls.
Just watch Gravity Falls instead.
Yep.
So on to things that I've played. I have a bunch of different games right now. I recently picked back up Symphony of the Night.
Hey, there you go.
What a good game. What a good game. And right after Metroid Dread, it's a really interesting experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it's just like the starkest difference between Metroid and Metroidvania.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen some people say like the difference between Metroid and Metroidvania is like Metroid is you shoot the gun and Metroidvania is melee, and I can see that, but I would say more for me what makes a Metroidvania versus a Metroid game is the RPG elements in Metroidvanias, because like Symphony of the Night is not just doing the Metroidvania stuff, it's also the RPG part where you find equipment, you get equipment going, you level up and everything, and then you get a couple like traversal abilities. Like you don't like Metroid. Most of the progression is all about you find this upgrade, and now you can explore more areas. You can get farther in these areas with these upgrades, and that's most of Metroid's progression. And it's great. I love it. Metroidvania, or at least Symphony of the Night, you get a couple of those things. You can transform into a bat, a wolf, and a cloud of gas. And really, you only need bat and cloud of gas.
Yeah.
And that's about it. The rest of it is finding different weapons and finding different shields and stuff and different equipment. And that's more how you progress and figuring out how to defeat certain bosses and stuff. And you'll find like life upgrades and heart upgrades for your special weapons, which works just like regular Castlevania.
Yeah.
But it's mostly about finding the different weapons and equipment, and that's more what I think of when I think of Metroidvania. The leveling up, and then more spending time in the menu looking at numbers.
Yeah.
Than anything. Well, not more than anything. But yeah. So I've gotten to the reverse castle.
Nice.
And I'm working my way through that. I've killed, I think, 3 of the bosses, and when I'm fighting them, I'm like, oh, I'm killing these guys really fast. I guess I got overpowered equipment and stuff because I'm not having hardly any trouble, and then I get to an area that just kicks my butt.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So maybe I'm just not using the shield as much as I should. I got the Alucard shield, not Alucard. The Alucard shield, there is a difference. Especially if you use the shield rod. There was one boss where I couldn't figure out how to beat him. And then I looked up, I was like, what am I doing on this? Because this guy just starts shooting lightning at me, and then I get stunned. I just get stunned, and then I die. And they're like, get the shield rod and use it with the Alucard shield, and do the best special ability thing. So I did, and then I stood and I used the ability, and I stood at the guy's feet, and he just melted away and died.
Oh,
like just I'm standing at his feet, and it's just constant damage, and then he just dies.
Nice.
And I don't know why. I don't know what it does. But yeah, that game's great, and I'm hoping to finish it soon, because I bought Bloodstained, and Bloodstained, from everything I've heard, is basically a sequel to Symphony of the Night. Or at least it plays like it. Like, the difference between Bloodstained and Hollow Knight is an evolution of Symphony of the Night, and Bloodstained is a sequel to Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
So, I might prefer that over Hollow Knight, but I haven't really given Hollow Knight the time it needs.
Yeah.
Plus, that game is just brutally difficult, and I don't know if I want to deal with that right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of brutally difficult, SMT5.
Yes.
I have not gotten very far to get to that brutal difficulty. I beat the essentially tutorial boss.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not very far at all, but I've spent a decent amount of time just wandering around and doing the side quest stuff.
Yeah, by tutorial boss, do you mean the who do you mean?
The first big flower thing, I think it is.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like you get a little ways, and then this big old thing is blocking your path, and you have to fight it.
Yeah.
That thing.
Okay.
So yeah, not very far. I haven't even been able to fuse any demons yet, but I have collected every single demon that I can.
Yes.
And I will happily start fusing them once I get the ability to.
Yeah.
Because these guys are weak.
Yes, they are.
Listen, I know I start every single one of these games with a pixie. I don't want to have pixie for any longer than I need.
Yep.
I don't want to have slime any longer than I need. They suck.
They do. They're god awful.
Oh boy.
But yeah, fusing is definitely worth it
Yes.
in this game, much
Yes.
more so than Persona.
Yes.
Yeah, like almost all of my party members are all fusions. Because like at some point, once you get to the bosses, like you basically just have to play into weaknesses.
Yep.
So it's just like you're just fusing all these different demons to target their weaknesses and like be resistant.
I think
I didn't really fuse a ton in Persona games because I don't like just releasing Personas, or just fuse them just to make more room.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's more.
Infuse those.
Yeah, I'm sure it's more necessary in P3 too.
Yeah, it's not exactly necessary in P4. Or
No,
relevant,
not really in P4. Although I do like it more in P4 because in P4 you can choose the abilities that your persona inherits,
which is super nice.
As opposed to P3 where it's just all right.
Like,
I want to make this one I want to make this mote that can charm things. All right, let me go. X. Nope. Circle. Down. X. Down. X. Nope. Didn't get the abilities. I went circle. Down. X. Nope. Circle. Down. X. Nope. And you just keep doing that until you get the ones you want.
Yeah, I legit spent like 3-4 hours just fusing the ultimate persona.
Yep.
Just checking skills. Like nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Nope. Yep.
Save state this because that I can work with that, but we're gonna try again. No.
Yep.
No.
Oh man, and like with Persona 4 though, I would fuse a Justice persona because I love the Justice Arcana personas, and then I would just give it like all these different magic abilities, and then like Null Dark or Reflect Dark or something, just to cover that one weakness, and then that's the persona I would take through the entire dungeon, and then if I needed to fuse another one for the boss, I'd do it, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then I do the same because in Persona 4 I went through the dungeons all twice because if you wait for a while there's an extra boss that appears at the end of the dungeon because you can revisit dungeons in Persona 4. So that's what I would do with that. And sometimes I'd have to fuse a Persona for that, but sometimes I didn't.
Yeah,
because the game's not that difficult.
Yeah. The third area in SMT5 is, I can't wait for you to get to it because it is so brutal. It takes all of the brutality of the game and dials it up to 11. I just got to that section.
I can't wait.
And oh my goodness gracious, I was getting murked by like the first enemies I ran into. Literally the first ones. I just run up to them and be like, the other ones weren't that bad. The bosses, those were tough. But these guys, they're not that bad. Just the regular mobs. Nope. Obliterates my entire party. Yeah.
I know if you buy the DLC, like when you buy the DLC, an enemy appears right beside the first save point, and it's Matador from SMT3.
Oh my god!
Who is one of the most notorious bosses in the series, and he's just there. He's like, "Sup," and you can fight him whenever you want.
Oh, nice.
He will one shot you easily if you go there right away.
Good
He's
stuff.
just there for whenever you want.
Okay.
And that's one like Persona, like buffing and debuffing, not really a big deal. Yeah. SMT, buffing and debuffing is necessary.
Yes.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
And Matador especially, you have to do it.
Yes.
Like it is almost an unwinnable fight if you don't.
Yeah, which is terrible because I'm so bad about buffing and debuffing. I'm just like, but I could be using that turn to hit him with my kill stick.
No, you do weakness to get press turn, and then you just buff and debuff.
Yeah,
and then you go in and attack.
Yep,
which is what you can do easier with the press turn system as opposed to one more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The third area in SMT5 is, I can't wait for you to get to it because it is so brutal. It takes all of the brutality of the game and dials it up to 11. I just got to that section. And oh my goodness gracious, I was getting murked by like the first enemies I ran into. Literally the first ones. I just run up to them and be like, the other ones weren't that bad. Just the regular mobs.
So that's that game I will continue at some point, but that is a commitment. And then once I do that, I might go back to SMT4 because I've heard SMT4 and SMT4 Apocalypse especially are some of the best RPGs ever made.
Yeah.
Dang.
And I've heard similar. I've actually heard similar things about 5. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. The story is. It's interesting. It's doing a very SMT thing of order versus chaos.
Yeah.
Just screw you, order versus chaos.
Do you know how much story is carried over from the previous ones? Is it like completely new?
From what I know, they are in the same universe. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. I don't know if there's any connections. SMT4 starts off in a weird fantasy world, and then you go through this tower, and then you come out in modern apocalyptic Tokyo.
Okay, nice.
And the tower you were climbing up was the Tokyo Tower. You find out,
of course,
because it's always the Tokyo Tower, because that's the landmark. That's the landmark. So yeah, that game is grungy as crap. I love it. Cookie Clicker continues.
Yes.
It's not it's running in the background, I suppose, because I have the upgrades to where even if I close the game, it'll still go for a certain amount of time.
Nice.
Okay. And it just keeps going. And right now, it's kind of slowed down a bit on the Ascension stuff. I haven't gotten a ton of mind blowing upgrades in a while, but it's starting to slow down the rate of achievements I get, which stinks because achievements every 25 you upgrade your milk, and your milk gives you big bonuses, like the biggest bonuses to cookies that you can get. But yeah, it just keeps going.
Nice.
It never stops. I played a bit more Beat Saber. Beat Saber's fun, and it's very difficult. There's one song. I forget the. It's one of the extra albums, but I think it was one you get for free because I don't think I bought any of the extra albums. It comes after the bonus tracks album, and I forget the name of it, but it's got this one track on there called, I believe, "Light It Up," and it's a 6-minute long track, and I can't beat it on hard. It's so insane, and it's just a marathon.
I feel like all of the bonus tracks are like that. They just went 0 to 11. Like I can't even believe it. Like Crab Rave still can't beat an expert. Still can't. No. I played it like hours and hours. Couldn't do it. Like it's just impossible. And then there's the song from League of Legends.
Yes, Pop Stars.
Yes,
oh my
Pop
gosh.
Stars. That one's brutal too.
I remember that one.
Freaking brutal.
Yeah.
They like Volume 1 pretty easy.
Yeah.
Volume 2 doable. Volume 3 that's a little difficult. Volume 4 is just kicking you in the pants.
It really is.
And bonus tracks and all the other ones, they just keep kicking you while you're down. And it's fun, but it's a pain.
Yeah.
There was another VR game that was on PlayStation Plus, and I forget the name of it, but it's a roguelike VR game.
I think I know which one you're talking about. The the something. It's the sci-fi one, right? You're stuck on like a space station, and like there are a bunch of zombies and stuff. No. Okay.
No, this one's more fantasy, but it's got the kind of blocky World of Warcraft kind of look to where they're demons, but they look almost kind of cartoony.
Oh, I don't think I've heard of this one.
Not quite sci-fi, but kind of more angular to be not fantasy.
Yeah,
really. So somewhere in between, but it's definitely fantasy. And you start off with like a sword and a knife, and you have to break down you just swing at them and you break down their guard, and then you have to hit like swing at certain angles to deal actual damage. It's interesting, and I liked what I played, but it was kind of too easy.
Oh.
and so the couple runs I did lasted way too long, and I ended up like unlocking like 5 different weapons after the first real run.
Oh my god!
And it was like, okay, and then I got overwhelmed by choice, and I was like, I think I like these, but I don't know, and then I just stopped playing.
Nice.
So I might go back to that at some point. It was fun. It was fun because like dual wielding swords in VR is a lot of fun.
Yes.
And you would fight a boss, and then the next level, that boss is now a regular enemy with little enemies running around, regular enemies running around with them. Cool. And I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the VR stuff I did. I played a little bit more of Madness Returns, Alice Madness Returns.
Yes.
That game continues to be great. It gets better as it goes along gameplay wise, so I'm happy about that. I'm happy that it's holding up better as I get more into it, because I was really worried with that first impression on the replay of the combat being pretty bland. It does get better, and especially when they have a bunch of enemies in the room at a time, you have to really pay attention to the audio cues, because there will be enemies shooting stuff at you or charging at you, and they have distinct audio cues for that, so you have to listen out for that, and that makes the combat a lot more interesting. Speaking of interesting combat, Ghost of Tsushima is a pretty good game.
Pretty good game.
I finally got to the second island.
Hey.
And then a bunch of stuff popped up in the first island, so it's like, well, I gotta go back there now.
Yep.
Gotta go back there. Can't leave it uncompleted.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was just like, more side quests? Yes, please. Thank you. I am a hardcore completionist. I have to play them all.
For this game, yes, because it's a checklist game. It's an Ubisoft checklist game, just not made by Ubisoft.
Exactly.
And listen, sometimes I like that. I like old Assassin's Creed games.
Yep.
I like it. I like filling out the checklist. I did all the feathers in frickin' Assassin's Creed 2.
Yep.
For Jack Squat. It's not as bad as Mitchell doing the flags in Assassin's Creed 1.
For Jack. I think you get like a cape.
Yeah.
It makes you wanted anytime a guard sees you immediately.
Yeah, in Assassin's Creed 2 you get all the feathers, and then you get the Auditore cape. You are now wanted in every city. Immediately. It's like, why would I use this?
You want to fight the guards and just murder.
I guess, but the combat's not as good as it is in Brotherhood and beyond. Like, Assassin's Creed 2 is not a game I want to play for the combat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, thinking back to like Assassin's Creed 2, I didn't even do like everything. I didn't do all the races or anything like that, but I was able to platinum the game because it doesn't even look at that.
Yeah.
But I did have to throw a ton of money out to get a thing. I had to throw a body down a well to get a thing. I had to do a sweep attack, a specific sweep attack that I didn't even know existed until I went to the trainer, to the military trainer in the Castillo, and found out, oh, I can do a sweep attack with these long weapons. And then I learned how to do it, and you have to do it, sweep a certain amount of enemies in one sweep. You have to do that to get an achievement, because this is back when achievements were first getting really big, and they got dumb achievements. They have those dumb achievements that are just like, hey, you do it for the achievement. You would never do this in the regular game, but achievement. You like achievement. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is fantastic. It is, if you like checklist games, it is one of the best. Just tons of polish. Combat is a ton of fun. Samurai all the way. Screw ninjas. like if I have to choose between the ninja girl or my samurai uncle, it's gonna be a tough choice because I like the girl character and she is a girl, but samurai. Just go in like who cares if there's tons of guards? I will fight all of you. I'll fight them all. Who cares?
Yes.
Come at me. So it's a ton of fun. So for a while I was in the mood for that,
but I was also in the mood for Elden Ring because a lot of the footage started coming out of the network test for that game.
Yeah.
And Pat of Castle Super Beast, Pat Stares At, has 2 great videos. One's like a more digestible, like 30-minute-ish video, and then a long, like 3-hour video just going through the whole network test. And that just got me really excited for Elden Ring, and I can't wait for the game. And so I was in the mood.
It looks super dope.
It looks amazing. It looks so good. So I was in the mood for a FromSoft game, but I was also in the mood for Ghost of Tsushima. So I was like, hey, Sekiro's kind of in between there, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I went back to Sekiro.
Hey.
And I was like, okay, where I last left off, I was in the flashback stuff, and it was kicking my butt. Let me stop that and go back up to the tower, the castle. And so I worked my way up the castle, and I got to the bull, and the bull kicked my butt for a bit, but I beat him. And then I got past him. I got to the big old the guys flying at you and dive bombing you.
Yeah.
That was unfortunately I'd been spoiled on that like for ages because that's one of the first things that people show you about the game.
Yeah.
So I could see him. I saw him coming. I saw where he came from, and I was like, "Ah, that's clever." And I was able to deal with him. And then I got all the way up to Genichiro, and Genichiro took me like a good hour to beat.
Nice.
But I finally did it, and it was one of the most satisfying things ever. Like doing the lightning reversal on him a couple times, that felt amazing. And now I kind of want to go back and try the beginning of the game again, even though I probably wouldn't have been able to beat him. But you can totally beat him at the beginning of the game. It's the same boss.
Yep.
It's the exact same boss. But I probably should beat the game before I go do that. But I beat Genichiro, and I was like, all right, I need a break. So I went to I still was in the mood for FromSoft though, so I went back to my Demon Souls file.
Yes.
And I beat Demon Souls.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just busted through the whole thing and beat it. Man, that game is full of ups and downs.
Yeah.
That game is full of ups and downs. You have amazing areas, like you have all of the Isle of Storms.
Yeah.
All of 4 is amazing. Like one of my favorite areas in any of the Souls games. And you have all of 3. Like I'm not so big a fan of the first Latria area, the Prison of Hope, just because it's so confined. But I like it for what it is. But then the second area in Latria is phenomenal. Yeah, and I love all the Berserk references because boy Miyazaki loves Berserk. Boy, he loves Berserk, and boy, can you tell in frickin' 3-2. So those areas were great, and man-eaters are terrible. I hate man-eaters. I hate the man-eaters so much.
So brutal.
I hate them so much.
I probably died on them more than any other boss.
I probably did die on them more than any other boss. It's either them or Dragon God, because Dragon God is actually a terrible boss.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I probably died on Dragon God most times, actually.
Dragon God is atrocious.
I literally didn't know how to get past, like, the first area, that like, the very entrance, and you have to run to the right. I literally didn't know what to do, because, like, he would smash the pillars, and I would, like, hide, and be like, what? What? He still gets me. Mm-hmm. What do I do?
Yep. Yeah. It's awful. I hate it. It's so bad. It's a terrible, terrible fight.
Yeah.
And like, I figured out like, except for the final boss of Boletaria, all the archdemons are all gimmick fights.
Yes.
And you have one that's just terrible. One that it depends. Old Monk, it depends. I got one fight against the Old Monk where it was actually working, like the mechanic of the fight was working.
Yeah.
And then that time I actually beat him. I got up to him, and I got to him faster than it could load in a person.
Oh yeah.
So I just fought the Old Monk, and it was just a joke fight. And then
that was the same way for me. I don't think I had anybody playing against me, or if I did have somebody playing against me, they were not good at the game at all.
Yeah, it's that's a cool gimmick.
Yeah,
but that's also just that can be really frustrating.
Yes,
because I hate PvP in these games.
I can't do it, man. I literally joined into a game, and the first thing that happened to me was a guy cast a spell that broke all of my equipment instantly. And I'm just like...
No! Oh,
why?
Acid spray.
Yeah, I was just like...
Like,
why?
if this game didn't have acid spray and the scraping spear, it's like, that's fine. But it has both of them.
Exactly.
And it's awful. And then there's an enemy. There's a black phantom. One of the last black phantoms has a scraping spear. And it's awful.
So bad.
But then you have the two other archdemons that are also gimmick fights with Storm King and Maiden Estraya. And those are both phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, for completely different reasons. But they're both phenomenal. Although I will say for both of them, I prefer the soundtrack of the original game, which generally, as a whole, I prefer the soundtrack of the original game because it just has this weird tone to it that you don't get anymore.
Yeah.
Like, Demon's Souls remake soundtrack is very much a Souls soundtrack. Like, it's got a bit more... It's more varied. It's got more variety than... I'd say than Dark Souls 2 definitely, and I'd say more than Dark Souls 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't say it's as varied as Dark Souls 1. It's closer to that. But Demon's Souls original just has this very unique tone. Like it's one of the few soundtracks where you can hear like a tuba, just specifically a tuba going. And it's also one of the only soundtracks where it's like this whole piece is led by a harpsichord. And that's Maiden Estraya's soundtrack is led by a harpsichord. And I was really worried going into that fight because I listened to the remake Maiden Estraya theme and it's just not as good. But when I did the actual fight, it was a lot better than I thought because the way Demon's Souls remake soundtrack works is it's very dynamic soundtrack. If you going into different phases of a fight, the music switches to a different phase of the music. And so it did that with Maiden Estraya. And it worked better than just listening to the track on its own, even though it's a very beautiful piece of music. But still, even then, the original soundtrack is just, I would say, just flat out better.
Yeah. Just
partly because of how unique it is and how much better it fits, especially that moment. And Storm King, it's a lot more. Storm King has this big bombastic track in the remake, and so it fits because it's like big stormy weather, and this giant stingray thing is coming out and flying, and you're taking it down with the storm ruler, just swinging it and just doing all the magic sword swings to kill it, and it's cool. But in Demon's Souls original, it's a lot more somber and quiet, and that gives a really unique tone to it. And that's what I'd say across the board. Like generally, the soundtrack is a lot more somber in the original, and I like that tone a lot more.
Yeah.
Although again, the remake soundtrack, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I prefer the original.
Yeah.
So my build kind of changed halfway through my playthrough because I started really liking blessed weapons because of the regen. And I just went full regen. So at first I was going like just big strength and endurance, wear heavy armor, swing big swords. And I was like, actually, let me pump some faith because I'm going to be using this blessed mace a lot because it just gives me even more regen. And then I slapped on the regenerator's ring and the adjudicator's shield, so I had 3 things of regen going all at once.
Nice.
And so I had to put more points in the faith for that, so that the blessed mace would do decent damage. And then I found out the meat cleaver is a weapon. It's a boss weapon that you get from the adjudicator, and it's the only weapon that has 2 S scalings in it. It's got S scaling in strength and dex, and it's got A scaling in faith.
Ooh.
And you swing that thing, and it doesn't give you regen, but you swing it, and you get 1% of your damage back as health.
Oh, nice.
And it swings hard.
Yeah.
It swings super hard, and I remember it made me remember why I love big, giant, 2-handed weapons in these games. Because for a while I've been playing more like dodging around and doing kind of fast swinging weapons, and then I remembered, I love just doing a big old swing that just
takes the enemy out in one go.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. So I switched over to mostly using that. I had to switch around my armor because the meat cleaver is freaking heavy. And I want to keep my medium roll.
Yeah.
And I had to pump a bunch more into strength so that I could actually use it in one hand and occasionally hold up my shield. Because sometimes I like to do that, even if the Adjudicator shield doesn't block 100% physical. It's still nice to block some of it.
Yeah.
But man, the freaking upgrade system in that game is so stupid. Like, I love this game, but it is jank as crap. Like,
yeah.
if you want to get, if you have the longsword at the beginning of the game, and you like the longsword, and you've upgraded it a bunch because you like the longsword, and then you pick up that Blessed Mace and you're like, wow, I really like the regen, but I'm not a really big fan of the mace moveset. Or, I prefer to have slash and thrust damage as opposed to just blunt damage. Well, here's what you got to do. You go to, hey, I want to upgrade this longsword to be a blessed longsword. Well, you have to have it at +6.
Nice.
Specifically +6. If you have it +5, no. +7, no. If you have it at +7, you have to use a Meltstone to bring it back down to a +0 longsword.
Damn.
And then have to get it all the way up to +6. And then you can get it to blessed longsword +1.
Nice.
And then you have to upgrade it from there. And the only place to get Faintstone shards and chunks, which you need to upgrade blessed weapons, is in the Valley of Defilement from very specific enemies. And in the run I was going through, there were like 3 of them.
Nice.
And they don't always drop them. Actually, there might have only been 2. And so it was just a pain. I got my Blessed Mace up to +4, and I didn't even bother with +5. I got enough faith to where I found the big rock, the Faintstone Stone, or I don't know the exact one. The biggest one. There's like 1 in every run of the game.
Yeah.
that you can get, and you need it to make a +5 blessed weapon, which would have got me even more regen, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
So then I got all the way. I got all the way through Boletaria. I didn't have a ton of trouble. Flame Lurker gave me a bit of a run for a while.
Yes.
Because Flame Lurker's hard.
Yep.
And of course, Dragon God took forever because it's Dragon God.
Yep.
None of the bosses in the Valley of Defilement. I beat both the Valley of Defilement bosses on my first try because they're jokes.
Yeah.
Leechmonger and Dirty Colossus are both jokes. Old Hero took me a couple of tries until I put on the Thief Ring, and then it was easy. And Adjudicator was pretty easy. Both the bosses of Latria... Well, no. Fool's Idol I beat on my first try, and then Man-Eaters took me forever. Because it's Man-Eaters. It's Man-Eaters. Then Penetrator took me, I think, 2 tries. And then I got up to final area of Boletaria, get up the elevator, and I've killed all the Black Phantoms, did all of Ostrava's storyline, and then I didn't go to the mausoleum with Old King Doran, which I should have done. But I get up to the throne room in Boletaria, and I get to Old King Elant, and it's a freaking tough fight.
It is.
It's a freaking tough fight, and he got me with the grab.
Oh no.
He got me with the grab. And I was like, okay, I prepared for this. The last stats I've been pumping have been Dex, so that he'll take one of those levels. Because when he grabs you, he takes a level.
Yeah.
And then he grabbed me and I'm like, okay, it's fine. The last ones I did were Dex because I was just pumping damage for Meat Cleaver, and I purposely did that because then he'll take one Dex level and it'll be fine. So I start going and I roll, and I'm heavy rolling.
Oh no.
Turns out he takes a level from a random stat, and he took it from endurance, and I was
Nice.
1 endurance to get freaking medium rolls, and I kept going, and it was just like he would do an attack, I would do a heavy roll, and I'd do a big swing, and my character would be like coming out of the roll, swinging in the wrong direction, but then she would turn around and just slam it down on him because the swing took so long, so she'd be able to get it in the right direction.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And I was doing good damage because it's the Meat Cleaver.
Yep.
And I'm doing the big, heavy swings. And I beat him on my first go.
Woo!
Wow. Dang, nice.
Which felt amazing.
Yeah, that.
It felt so good to do that because I've heard a lot of people get stuck on that guy.
Yeah.
Especially because he drains levels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that felt great.
So, like, if he drains a level, and you die, can you go farm souls again
Yes.
too? Okay.
Yes, you can.
Well, that just means more breaks in between fighting him.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. If you want to keep the exact stats you had.
Yeah.
If you were like me and he took an endurance level and you had exactly the amount of endurance you needed for medium rolls, you either switch out your equipment or you go get that level again. Or if you were doing like strength and you lost a level and you couldn't wield your weapon with one hand, something like that, you'd have to adjust or go farm.
Yeah.
You get a lot of soul items in the game. The game is hard, but you can break it over your knee if you know what you're doing.
Okay.
It's very difficult to know what you're doing. By the way, boss weapons are also very strange. Let me you know that meat cleaver I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That awesome weapon. I freaking love it. It's my favorite weapon in the game. Let me tell you how do you think you get it?
You beat a boss.
You beat a boss, so you get the boss soul.
Yeah.
So for if you wanted the regeneration spell or miracle, you just give the adjudicator soul to the miracles guy, and he'll give you regeneration. To make a weapon, you can't do that. You can't give it to blacksmith Ed and do that. You have to give blacksmith Ed flame lurker's soul. That way he can make boss weapons. But then even then it's not enough. You have to have a specific kind of weapon to be able to make the meat cleaver, and you're basically making that weapon into the meat cleaver. So you think it's +6, right? Because everything else has been +6.
Sure.
It's +6 for certain weapons. A war pick is +6. Mace, pickaxe, morning star, iron knuckles, Murden hammer. All those you can make into the meat cleaver at +6, or you can use a club at +0.
Oh, nice.
Or a great club at +0.
Huh.
So I found a club at one point at +0, and I used it to make it into a meat cleaver, and it was great. But that's just the kind of jank you find in there. That's not even going into world tendency, because that's a whole system in Demon's Souls that I don't even bother with. Every time I die, or every time I beat a boss in Demon's Souls, and it brought me back into body form, and I finally get my whole health bar again, I would go back to the Nexus, I'd level up and upgrade my weapons and stuff, then I'd run up the stairs and throw myself off to kill myself again, because if you die in body form in the worlds, it messes with world tendency and puts you closer to pure black. If you go to pure black, black phantoms start showing up and it makes things harder.
Yeah.
If you go to pure white, certain areas open up. And you can do that if you beat all of the bosses in the area without pushing towards pure black. Or you can do it by doing co-op. So I didn't want to bother with that system. So my entire run, I had the cling ring on, because the cling ring is a ring that you get that halves the amount. Usually when you die and you go into soul form, you use half your health.
Yeah.
With the cling ring, you get another 25% health back.
Yeah, I wore that the whole game.
Yep. Wear that the entire game, because I don't care. I don't care about this dumb system. Like, it's interesting and unique, and I wish it had been refined, maybe, instead of cut out completely or something like it. But I would rather it be cut out completely than have it in the game.
I hated it so much, man.
It's so much of a pain.
Yeah, it really is. Especially because the health system is also tied to whether or not you can be invaded.
Yeah,
which is terrible.
And I don't want to be invaded.
Exactly.
I don't want to be invaded. I don't want to deal with some guy running at me with a scraping spear and breaking all my equipment, which means I can't play the game. I have to go farm souls to repair everything.
Yeah.
Because repairing stuff is expensive in Demon's Souls. It's not nearly as expensive in Dark Souls. But then I did that. I got the regular ending, and then I went into New Game Plus, and then I was like, let me explore a little bit around. I'm not quite done with the game. And so I went over, and I was like, oh, there's this whole side area that I didn't go to when I was in Boletaria, right at the beginning of Boletaria. And then these black phantoms show up, and they're the regular enemies. the regular Dregling enemies, and I'm like, okay, these guys are easy. I hit them. Oh, that didn't do a lot of damage, and I'm using the meat cleaver, and then they hit me. It's like, oh no, that's most of my life. And then I died, and so I kept going, and I eventually worked my way through them, and there were even more of them. And then I get up to this little doorway, and I walk into the doorway, and all of a sudden this big old axe comes at me and hits me, and it's this character who's the king's executioner, and she's swinging this giant axe at me. And I'm like, I forgot you were here. I knew about you beforehand, but I forgot about you. And then I died to her, and my souls are up there. And it's all the souls from beating Old King Elant. Oh! And so I'm like, I gotta go back up there now. And so I try, and then the freaking black phantom Dreglings kill me, and I'm like, screw this game. And I stopped.
Understandable.
And then I went right back in and played a mage. Yeah. Played a mage because I've heard magic is broken in this game. Magic is broken in this game.
Yeah. Right.
Magic is busted.
I've heard that. So if I play Demon Souls, when I play Demon Souls, I probably will do a mage.
Yeah, magic is busted. I do recommend going through these games first time as a melee build, just because that encourages you to explore the world and take in more of the level design more. Whereas with a magic build, you can go, oh, look, that enemy's over there. You're no longer a problem.
Yeah.
I'm pretty explorative anyway, and I'm such a completionist that I don't see that being an issue.
That's fair. Yeah. But, boy, even in Latria, where there's enemies that are resistant to magic, I just throw fire at them because Fireball doesn't do magic damage. It does fire damage, and that does a lot of damage to them. I haven't had an issue at all, because even if I go over to Stonefang, where all the characters are all the enemies are resistant to fire because it's the mines, I just switch over to my magic damage, and they're weak to magic.
Yeah.
And I immediately went up to the first area in the Isle of Storms and went over to the side of where this the first Black Katana skeleton, and I beat him because I can backstab those guys reliably, and I grabbed the Crescent Falchion, which does magic damage and scales with intelligence. And so this game is, but I can break this game over my knee. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm like right at the door of the Fool's Idol, and so I'll do that, and Fool's Idol should be pretty easy.
Nice,
because I know all the tricks for the Fool's Idol. But man, what a great game! There are things I like in this game more than I like in any of the Dark Souls games. Like every area, you can see like how it functions, and it's still functioning somewhat.
Yeah, like
Dark Souls is a dead, almost dead, dying world. Demon Souls still functions somewhat. Yeah. Like you can go through Boletaria and you can see, oh yeah, this is a regular castle town, and you can see like, oh yeah, they have this trap here because of this. They're throwing the enemies use fire bombs, and so you find fire bombs everywhere, which makes sense.
Yeah.
There's like a purpose behind like everything where they place everything, and like Latria, all the lore behind Latria, and like how the enemies are all guards in the prison and things like that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And then the further on you get, the more messed up and grotesque it gets, and you're taking kind of the route that a lot of the prisoners would take, that they wanted the prisoners to take. So it's the Prison of Hope, because you go to the Fool's Idol, and then even if you get past the Fool's Idol, you go to a place that's even worse.
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. And all the lore of the Isle of Storms with the Shadow Men, like even though that's the most dead area in the game, it still has such a really good rich lore, and the fact that you're going through the rituals that the Shadow Men would do with their death cult religion kind of thing.
Yeah.
But instead of it being just a ceremony, all of the monsters that they worshipped have been brought to life by the demon souls.
Yeah.
So when you go to the Adjudicator, which usually would normally function like an Anubis kind of thing, you actually have to fight the Adjudicator. And then when you go to the Old Hero, again, like instead of the ceremony where you're cleansed by the Old Hero, you have to fight the Old Hero. And then you go to the Storm to fight the Storm King, and probable that the storm beasts, that the regular storm beasts are actually there, like actual animals. And then they created the Storm King as part of their religion, as this god of the storm beasts. It's really interesting. And so, I don't really get that as much with even Dark Souls 1, although Dark Souls 1 has fantastic lore.
Yeah.
I believe that's it for Demon Souls. Black Friday happened, and it's the one time I go on a big shopping spree. Yeah. And this year it kind of sucked, I'll be honest. Wasn't really that interesting. Not a lot of deals. Like even usually Thanksgiving night is when the stores start opening up. Target and Walmart weren't doing anything. I don't think they even sent out flyers. So, but you could go there and there were a couple deals. So I got a bunch of games and stuff. I got a couple movies, but not really a bunch. And some books. And yeah, I still have fun. I also got a couple Legos.
Oh,
because I haven't had a Lego in a while, and I saw the Legos there, and I was like, you know what, I like it. I like this. I like this one. And I have noticed that my tastes have changed, because when I was a kid, I would always go for the Star Wars ones because the Star Wars ones had the cool walkers and everything, and you'd play around with them. And now I'm like, I want this Harry Potter one to set up and look nice.
Yeah,
just set it up and look nice, and never touch it ever again.
You've become the dad off of the Lego movie.
Yes.
You have to build the big town.
I have to super glue it all together. But yeah, couple things I want to talk about from that. I got a manga because one of the sales that Barnes & Noble was doing. Barnes & Noble does weird Black Friday sales, but one of the things they were doing was the first of any manga series you get for a much cheaper price. So I looked around at the mangas there, and I was like, I'm not really interested in starting a lot of these. And the one or two I was, like, oh, they only have volume 5 of Spy Family. Okay, well, can't do that. So I eventually settled on the first volume of the Goblin Slayer manga.
Oh, okay. What do you think?
I like it. Yeah. It's very much trying to do a thing where it's like regular D&D fantasy world with adventures and everything, but it has a very grim reality to it.
Yeah. I heard that it actually started as a D&D idea by the guy in his D&D group.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Because they have forms that you fill out for as an adventurer, and it's just the Dungeons and Dragons character sheet.
Yeah.
It's just the character sheet. Which I think is cute. And the first chapter is like just like we're gonna go fight these goblins. They took in the maidens from this village. We'll go find them, and they go into the cave, and then they just get slaughtered.
Yeah, and
it's just like, oh no. Maybe a world with fantasy monsters isn't such a fun time.
Yeah,
and then the Goblin Slayer shows up and saves some of them.
Yeah. Because
the others were just already killed.
Yeah.
And then some of them are traumatized for life. And the Goblin Slayer is really cool and everything. And it's like, okay, I get kind of what you're going for here. You're doing a kind of a Guts type character, except he's a bit more sociable than Guts, at least for part of Guts in Berserk. And it's not. I see a lot of influences from Berserk, but it's not just trying to be Berserk. Like, Claymore is trying to be Berserk. It is trying to be Berserk, and it's not Berserk, but it's trying to be Berserk. Goblin Slayer isn't really trying to be Berserk, but it's definitely got a lot of Berserk influences. Especially the armor of the Goblin Slayer. It's got that kind of sharp, angular look that the Berserker armor has in Berserk.
Yeah.
And I like it, and I think I will go and watch the anime and maybe pick up more of the manga. And I'm not going to read the light novels because I don't read light novels.
Yeah, fair.
Because I barely know what a light novel even is.
A novel that's light.
Yes, I think that's actually it.
Probably.
Oh boy. A couple other things I got at Black Friday that I haven't played yet. Going through games. I got the PS3 version of Shadow of Mordor.
Okay.
Now you might ask, why would you get the PS3 version of Shadow of Mordor? Why do you specify the PS3 version? And don't you already have the PS4 version? Yes, the PS4 version of Shadow of Mordor was the first game I got for my PS4. It's a great game, and I really enjoy it, and I need to go finish it at some point. It's another one of those checklist games that I enjoy.
Yes.
But the PS3 version of Shadow of Mordor came out a year or two after the PS4 version. And it completely ripped out the Nemesis system because the PS3 couldn't handle it.
Wow.
And it honestly shouldn't have been released anyway.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Oh,
It is horribly optimized. It barely runs. And I'm down for that. That
Okay.
sounds like a fun time to watch a game break.
Yes.
So that's the only reason I got that.
Oh my
But
God.
I have a fascination with games that are bad or that I can just break over my knee.
Yes.
Or movie license games. Or really just licensed games in general. Speaking of licensed games, I found an Xbox original game called Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
And it's not about the TV series. This came out before the TV series. And I was very confused. And then I looked, and it's made by Pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
This is the beta for the original Star Wars Battlefront.
Oh.
Ah.
Huh.
And it's bundled with like a Tetris game in there. And for some reason, Game Exchange had like 10 or 20 copies of this.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I don't have an Xbox original or any kind of Xbox, but I want that because that's cool. That's really cool. And so now I have that as a part of my collection
Nice.
because I enjoy collecting things. A couple other fun things I found. There's the Wii version of Sid Meier's Pirates, which is a PC game, and I don't know how that would work on the Wii, but I love that game, so I'm interested to see how that works on the Wii, even if it's terrible.
I can tell you probably not well.
It probably doesn't work. It probably doesn't work at all. But I can see how that game could work because it's fairly mouse intensive.
Yeah.
So I could see it working, but I love that game anyway. So if it's good, great. If it's not, it'll be a fun time to laugh at.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also I found a copy of Shrek Extra Large,
Oh.
the GameCube version of the first Shrek game,
Oh, nice.
based on Shrek 1. And it's a weird collectathon kind of platformer. It's really weird. There's a button specifically to make Shrek burp,
Oh, nice.
and you can just spam that.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's any good, but I saw a speedrun of it that looked really
Yeah.
dumb.
I think I've seen the same one.
Just flying across the stage.
Literally flying.
So hey, fun times. I got a couple other things. I got Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers game. People talk about the Return of the King game all the time because it's a very good action game.
Yep.
And I don't hear much about The Two Towers, so I was interested in that. I got 2 movies at Game Exchange. I got one that was a collection of The Goonies, Gremlins, and Gremlins 2.
Nice.
All for the price of 1, which is great.
Nice.
And then I got The Green Knight,
Oh.
which is a movie that I want to see because I love Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Yep.
And I've heard that it is nothing like Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Absolutely nothing like
So-
the story.
Interesting.
It seems like they read the story about as much as the people who made Frozen read the Snow Queen.
Yep.
Interesting.
I mean, I would even go so far as to say like it's the antithesis of the Green Knight. That's how far I would go.
From the very little I've heard of it, it sounds like that.
Yeah.
Starting off in a brothel is completely the antithesis of the Green Knight.
Yep.
Of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight.
Ha.
Like, one of the whole things is that he resists temptation. That's one of his trials at the end of the story.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I might watch that and just get really frustrated. I don't know.
Is that going to be another watch along for us?
Maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe. There we go.
I still think it's a good movie if you just don't treat it as an actual, like, one-to-one adaptation.
If you know nothing about the Green Knight.
If you know nothing about the Green Knight, if you know very little
I
about
don't, so I am a perfect control group.
If you know very little about King Arthur.
Yeah. It's, I would say, in general, it's a good piece of filmmaking. Just don't worry about it actually being an adaptation of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, because it's not. I love the way it ends, though. The way it ends is really great.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So, I also got... I grabbed a couple games that I will get to at some point. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love 3D platforms, and that's a good one.
Yeah, it's fun.
Let me check real quick. Geometry Wars.
Sammy makes an appearance.
He does.
Oh, my God. Oh,
And there he goes.
There he goes. He's gone.
There's people in here. I got to get out of here.
Yes, exactly. I got Geometry Wars on the Wii.
Throwback.
That's a throwback. What else did I get? Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, The Crystal Bearers.
Nice. I didn't even know they had a Final Fantasy game on the Wii.
Yes, it is a sequel to Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube.
Okay.
And
Makes
they
sense.
came out with a remaster of the original Crystal Chronicles, and from everything I've heard, it's absolutely terrible.
Nice.
And nowhere near as good as the original. So, whoopee. I got Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 for the Wii.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed Order of the Phoenix on the Wii. And Chamber of Secrets on the GameCube is a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And I have Half-Blood Prince on the Wii. And I remember back in the day seeing commercials for it and thinking, wow, that looks a lot of fun. That looks like a lot of fun. Probably isn't. But I want to try it out anyway. And so I was like, hey, Deathly Hallows Part 1. All I know about that game is the, I think, 360 version, and it was terrible. The Wii version is probably different. Maybe not better or worse, but different. And then I got Cursed Mountain on the Wii. Now, I will tell you, Cursed Mountain is... This game is a legally distinct version of another famous video game property. Can you guess which one it is?
You said Cursed Mountain.
Cursed Mountain, yes.
Silent Hill?
Yes.
Ah, yes. Makes
it's
sense.
totally not Silent Hill, you guys.
Quiet Mountain.
I think Quiet Mountain might actually be a thing. That is actually even more. Totally not Silent Hill, you guys.
Totally not.
Actually, I might be thinking of Quiet Mountain. Is Quiet Mountain a thing? Let's find out. Oh boy, gotta stall for time while I
can Google it real quick and you can just keep going.
All I'm getting is Quiet Mountain Town or Quiet Mountain Cafe. And there's a movie called Quiet Mountain. I don't know if... it's a short movie in 2012. And the poster makes it look like it's Silent Hill. But Cursed Mountain, I believe, is inspired by Silent Hill at the very least. It's some kind of horror game on the Wii, so it'll probably be kind of crap.
Yeah.
But, hey, I'm down to try things. Especially, for some reason, the Wii and GameCube era had a lot of weird games.
Yeah.
That just are really interesting, even though they're bad.
Yes. Plenty of shovelware.
Yes, it was a strange time, but the shovelware had sometimes effort put into it. Sometimes, and then other times you get Finding Nemo the game.
I'm getting a Soundless Mountain 2, which was a demake of Silent Hill 2, where it looks like they demade it down to like the
PS1 graphics.
It looks more like 16-bit or something.
Wow. Oh, golly.
I'm trying to get more information on this.
So yeah, I might be thinking of Cursed Mountain, actually. I did get Guardians of the Galaxy. I picked that up, so
hey, nice.
Play that at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, like I said, it's pretty good. The banter is nice. I like it. I'm barely into it.
Soundless Mountain 2.
Wow.
Yeah, that's NES.
Yep.
Like NES. It demade it down to NES. So.
I'd say
that's all I'm getting.
The gameplay of Guardians of the Galaxy is mostly serviceable. Like it's not really it's nothing that's going to impress you.
Do you wish that you could play as the other Guardians of the Galaxy instead of just Star-Lord?
Sure do, yes. I mean, at least there's like a Guardians menu you can open up to like have them do stuff for you, though.
I guess,
so,
yeah.
I guess you got that going for you, but yeah, I do wish.
You wish it had the battle system of like a Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah, the dream. Which is weird because it's also made by Square Enix, so
yeah,
or I guess it's published,
but it's like Eidos Montreal or something like that.
Published,
so it'd be closer to like Tomb Raider games.
Yeah,
the Tomb Raider remakes. I got the Yakuza Remastered Collection, so now I have the entire Yakuza series up until Like a Dragon, which is Yakuza 7. As much as they don't want to market it as Yakuza 7, it's Yakuza 7.
Yeah.
So I'll eventually work my way through those. I have to work my way through Kiwami, which I've heard like Yakuza 1 is a bad game. Just get through the story. Even Yakuza Kiwami is a bad game. Just get through the story. So I'll just have to get through the story. But I will take a detour and do the Pocket Racer side quest because I did that in Zero and I loved it. And Pocket Racer is a ton of fun. I also got the Disney Classics game, which had Aladdin and Lion King for the Genesis. And I was like, I got it because I want to play both those games, and I like old Disney games because they generally put a decent amount of effort into them. And I was like, you know what, this is cool, but I wish it was the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin because the Genesis version of Aladdin is just not as good. Like people praise that version because it has sprites and stuff actually drawn by Disney animators, which is really cool.
Yeah,
but the Super Nintendo one was developed by Capcom, and it's got really good gameplay. And I also have that soundtrack just stuck in my head because I played that so many times that I think it was my grandma's house. I don't know.
Same. I literally the exact same situation.
Yeah.
My grandma had it on the SNES, and I'd be like, gotta play it.
I can immediately call in my mind the Cave of Wonders music, just immediately. And so I boot it up. I boot up the game, and I go and I look at the menu, and I'm like, hold on a second. Jungle Book. The Jungle Book game wasn't advertised. I thought this was just Aladdin and Lion King. And it was like, okay, Jungle Book's here too. Okay, I'll go to Aladdin. Wait a minute, this looks like the Super Nintendo version. And then it's like, oh, they released DLC later on that added in the Super Nintendo version of Aladdin.
What?
And other versions of that version of Aladdin. So like the Game Boy and Game Boy Color version of that. And it added in the Super Nintendo version of the Jungle Book game, along with other versions of that. It turns out that and it also added in the Super Nintendo version of the Lion King, but that's the same game as the Genesis version. But you can play both versions of that, whichever one you want, because there are subtle differences, and you can play the Game Boy versions of all those games, and you get little videos that tell you all about the making of the games and everything. And you can even go in and it'll do you can watch a playthrough of the game and jump in at any point.
Wow.
Which is insane. It is an insane level of detail that I never expected. And I am very happy with my purchase just because, wow, that's cool.
Great.
Lion King is still a bad game, though. Doesn't change the quality of the games, but it's cool. It's certainly cool. Couple other games real quick. I got Katamari Reroll for the PS4. That's such a charming game. Katamari is
I love Katamari.
Katamari's amazing. Such a charming game. Controls really weird, but it's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's really not much to say about the game. It's just a really good time.
Yeah.
And then I also picked up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 for the PS4.
There we go.
And I just went ahead and upgraded to the PS5 version because why not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? So that game is fantastic. I love the soundtrack, obviously. And then I start playing the game and I'm like, this is really complex. This is really complex. Oh no, this game passed me by.
I didn't have a PlayStation, so I barely played these games. I played them at my friend's house on his PlayStation, and I never got good at the games. Oh no, they passed me by. They've passed me by. And so I may or may not go back to that. I mean, I should because I spent the money on it, but I don't know if I could get good at those games. I might just go back to it just to listen to the soundtrack, honestly, because it's a great soundtrack, and they got all of it back. There was questions about whether or not they'd be able to get the rights to a lot of the songs, but they got them, so that's great. And that's it for things that I played. Speaking of play, I'm in one.
Yes.
And it's going, and
Nice.
we have performance in like next week. And we had our second full run yesterday, and we have like 5 rehearsals left, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
It's not a very difficult show, so the only thing I'm worried about is the children, but I am always worried about children in shows. I agree with the person who said never have children or animals in your show.
Yeah, makes sense.
Unless you can't avoid it because you want to do Oliver and you need to have both children and animals. But it's worth it because Oliver's great. I don't care what anyone says. Oliver's fantastic. Anyway, I believe that is it for me. My throat's about to give out.
Yeah.
You've been talking quite a
Very
while.
I have been talking quite a while.
That's it. The only other thing I could think of is that I did start dabbling in the One Piece manga.
Oh boy!
Oh my
Yes!
god.
I'm not very far yet.
The
I think
journey
I
begins.
just got to, where did I get to? Alright, we got Zoro.
Mm-hmm.
We beat the clown.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then the cat people. The cat dude.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We got the slingshot dude.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I left off.
Okay.
So not super
Oh
far.
my god.
Yeah. It's great. One Piece is fantastic.
If I were
It
to
is-
experience One Piece, I think I'd probably want to do the manga.
Yes.
Just because I've heard the anime gets once it catches up to the manga, it's just
It slows down.
fight scenes
But I'm
will
like,
literally
ooh,
last-
manga. I can just kind of blaze through that.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard my one friend told me that there's one fight scene that just lasts 5 episodes or something.
Yep.
And I'm just I could never do that to myself.
It's the opposite of the Hunter x Hunter 2010 series, where fights last at most an episode.
Yeah, I love it. That's what I love about Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
Aside from that one, but that's the
yeah.
exception, and it's done phenomenally well.
It is done exceptionally well. But but yeah, no, I would definitely want to experience One Piece by manga.
Yeah.
Because it's the OG.
Yeah.
Plus,
should I be
the
paying more
arcs.
attention to the background? Because I've kind of just been skimming.
I mean, probably, but I don't know. The guy has an encyclopedic memory of the whole thing, and so he'll pull in hey, this character. I've been hinting at this character in the background for a while. Now he's here, and there were hints at everything about him in the background, and you could have paid attention if you wanted or not. But he'll have a character shows up in chapter 1, and 800 chapters later is the next time he shows up, and he's still just kind of a background character, but he's there.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
And you can see some time change from him.
So that's crazy.
Oh boy. Yeah, definitely go with the manga.
Do you think when he first started the manga, he's like, oh yeah, I can milk 1,000 chapters out of this at least?
Apparently, maybe, because this seems to be a thing he's been working on for decades before he even started. He's just been building this world, and then he's probably been building even more as he's writing it, and it's just yeah, let's go over here and see and we'll do stuff going on in this island, and it's just insane amounts of detail.
Okay. No, wait. I do remember we met the dude who's going to become the cook, I think. And we met
Sanji?
Yeah, and we met one of the power ceiling dudes who fought Zoro.
Oh, yeah.
Big black scimitar?
Yes.
So I've seen that, and I'm like, okay, so that's the current skill ceiling.
Yep.
And wow, is that a gap?
Yeah, it is. Oh boy, is it. And then Zoro's like, the next time I fight you, I'm gonna beat you. And I'm like,
so, okay, Zoro.
Either this fight's not gonna happen for ages.
Or
you're wrong.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting to see when that finally happens again.
Oh yeah, I can't wait, man. I'm not too far ahead of that. A decent ways ahead of that, but not too far.
Alright.
You're probably in like chapters 60s or 70s.
Sounds like 60-ish probably.
And I'm in like chapter 100 something.
Alright.
I say not that far ahead, and then I'm like, I'm like 50 something chapters ahead. But this is One Piece. This is over 1,000 chapters.
Yeah, I've been dabbling in One Piece since I've been busy with moving. It's kind of, if I'm bored, I can just pop in, read a couple chapters, pop out.
Yep. It's a lot easier to do that than with something like Berserk. Because as much as I love Berserk, that's something that you don't want to just skim. That's something you really need to just give it its time, because not necessarily because like the artwork's extremely detailed and everything, and it's phenomenal. Yeah. But it's more that the subject matter gets really freaking heavy, dark.
Yeah, from what I understand, yeah.
And I love it, but boy, is it not a good time sometimes. It's very good. It's man, Berserk.
Beast and Black have made some great songs about Berserk, though.
Yeah, yeah. They're named after the freaking thing in Berserk.
Yep. Beast and Black made a new album a while ago.
Is there more Berserk songs? Tell me, please. I need to know.
Well, no, there's not new Berserk songs.
Ah, dang it.
It's kind of more of a sci-fi punk thing.
Ah, dang it. Like, that's cool, but dang it.
That's cool. I give Midnight Rendezvous a try. It's pretty banger.
I'll have to check that. That's gonna be our outro music. No, can't do that.
No, we can't do that. They may sue us.
They wouldn't sue, but they'd content ID the crap out of us.
Can't do that. That'd be bad.
Yeah. So that was our first podcast back in person.
Yes.
In person.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, I ordered a gaming PC.
Oh, yes, that's right. Hardware.
Yes, I mentioned the hardware. I totally forgot about it. So it was kind of an adventure getting it.
Oh, boy.
Because, so originally what happened was I saw Halo came out. The new Halo, the multiplayer launched, which it's kind of a mess right now because of the progression system, which is like horribly predatory. But anyway, I saw that launch, and like Squidward watching SpongeBob and Patrick play out of his window, I thought to myself, I must play this game. I simply must. Mm-hmm. But like, I didn't really want to get an Xbox because like I wanted to be able to play PC games in addition. So I realized like if I get a gaming PC instead of an Xbox, I can play both the new Xbox exclusives because they're all coming to PC.
Yes. And
additionally, any PC exclusives that might catch my eye.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'm going to get myself a gaming PC. So I ordered an HP Pavilion desktop. Mm-hmm. Completely ignorant of anything going on with the gaming build computer scene. I bought it and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this bad boy and it's going to get in and I'm going to go out and buy a graphics card to upgrade it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I knew the graphics card situation was bad. Oh, I was not quite aware of just how bad it truly was.
Yeah.
I was looking on and like all of the places and I'm like, surely like the mid-level GPUs must be out there, right? No. The mid-level GPUs are like twice MSRP going, if you're lucky, like on different websites. So I was like, well, this sucks. To add insult to injury, it turns out the gaming PC I bought like can't be upgraded at all because the power supply is too bad and it's completely proprietary with their motherboard. So you literally can't upgrade the power supply so that way you can get a better graphics card in the first place. So basically my friend who's big into like PC building was like, we're going to find you a better one. And so we went on Newegg and we're like scanning Newegg for like better ones. And so eventually I find one that's a couple $100 more, but I'm like, I can actually upgrade this one. It comes with a mid-range GPU instead of like the low-range one I got with the other one. So the other gaming desktop I got arrived last Friday, and I sent it back. I think the same day. Yes. So it's like, I didn't even open the box. I'm just like, okay, I know I'm getting this other one, so I can't even bother with it. So basically, I got this new gaming PC is coming in tomorrow. The other one got sent back, and I should be getting a refund on it like by the end of the week. So, yeah, that was my PC gaming journey. I can actually upgrade this new one I got because the stupid power supply isn't proprietary. So
I would highly recommend watching both Cat Icarus's video on him building a PC.
Yeah,
and the nightmare that he went through, and Super Eye Patch Wolf's video on buying a PC from Dell. And the nightmare he went through.
Dell, I've heard they're just the worst.
The worst.
Yeah.
Never buy anything from Dell.
Oh, yeah. No,
Never.
My friend actually, he directly warned me about that while we were looking for PCs. He's like, no Dell. Like,
no Dell.
Yeah. And buying it pre-built right now is actually considerably cheaper. Because
that's what I did.
Yeah, you can get it literally MSRP. So, like, yeah.
Because I saw the Cat Icarus video, and I'm like, it's cheaper anyway right now.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want that headache, and it's cheaper, so like, why not? So, yeah, that's
yeah, I didn't assemble it with my own hands. I don't care. You know what? It plays Final Fantasy 14. I don't.
Yeah, who cares?
It does its job.
Zenwalker out yet? Can I finally make my Mel Vieira?
No.
Never.
I mean, if you go gamble a lot, you can kind of do one.
Oh, I see what you're doing. Oh. No, it's December 7th. Dang it! I can't make my character a Mel Vieira yet.
Yep.
I want to do that before I get to it completely and wholly attached to my old look.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't wait to try Halo tomorrow.
Yeah, I've heard it's fantastic outside of the progression system.
Yes, that's what everybody says.
Yes.
So, I've just been watching like clips like throughout the entire time I've been waiting for my PC to arrive. I'm like, God, this looks so good.
It looks like the best Halo's been in a long time.
In a very long time.
I sure do wish that actual Bungie would make a good game again.
Yes, if only.
If only. If only. Does anyone play Destiny 2 anymore?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are plenty of players that still do it. I know
plenty of addicts.
Yeah, plenty of addicts is the best way to describe it because you have to grind so much. You have to grind so much just to get like even a tiny crumb of the content that they offer.
Can I have some more?
Can I have some
more? How dare you? How dare you ask for more?
Yeah, and I heard Beyond Light, which is like an expansion they came out with, like basically wiped out like half the game's content.
Oh yeah, I heard something.
And everybody's
about that.
like,
"Oh no,
this is the worst thing you have ever done to me, Bungie. You have insulted my family."
My disappointment is immeasurable. My day is ruined.
Yeah. But anyway, so new gaming PC.
Don't mind that.
Don't mind that. Don't worry about it. It's just a big old spike in the waveform.
It's just a big old spike. I checked a water bottle.
He finally checked one at my face.
I missed.
Yes.
All right. Well, is that?
I suppose that is
all.
it. That should be it. Oh boy, looking at this bookcase, I'm seeing like so many books that I want to read, and it's just like a nightmare because it's like I can't get to all of these. Like there's Dune right there. There's To Sleep in a Sea of Stars. There's even more Brandon Sanderson. What's this? More Brandon Sanderson. Did you say you want more? Here's more. The third book in the Skyward series just came out, and he's already like almost done with the first draft of the fourth book.
Nice.
What the heck?
Brandon Sanderson's writing them faster than we can read them.
That's how it works.
When does the third book in the Stormlight Archive series come out?
The third?
The 3rd of December?
Wait, the third book?
Oh, yeah. Is there a third book?
There's a fourth book.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
You see the problem.